dinosaurs are headed back to the big screen in director Luke Sparks' Primitive War, which stomps into theaters on August 21st, 2025 from Fathom Entertainment. An adaptation of author Ethan Pettis' 2017 sci-fi military novel, Primitive War is set in Vietnam, circa 1968, when a recon unit known as Vulture Squad is sent to an isolated jungle valley to uncover the fate of a missing Green Beret platoon. Soon enough, they discover they are not alone and must face the most terrifying creatures to ever walk the earth. This is no walk in the park, and you'll see why when you watch the full trailer right now at bloodydisgusting.com.
Need to restock inventory, cover seasonal dips, or manage payroll? OnDeck's small business line of credit provides immediate access to funds up to $100,000 exactly when your business needs it. With flexible draws, transparent pricing, and full control over repayment, you can tackle unexpected expenses without missing a beat. Apply today at OnDeck.com, and funds could be available as soon as tomorrow. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
Hey everyone, Shelby here to ask for your help to make Bloody FM even better. If you have a moment, please take our listener survey so we can learn what you like, what you don't like, and what else you're listening to. You can find the survey at bit.ly/bloodysurvey. It takes less than 5 minutes and it's really easy because, hey, you're just telling us about yourself. So if you've got a couple minutes, please head to bit.ly/bloodysurvey and click the link. It'll really help make Bloody FM and all our shows better. One last time, that's bit.ly/bloodysurvey. Thank you so much.
You have to control yourself!
Welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking, even though I am no better than a beast, don't I have a right to live? We're talking, seeking revenge is the best cure for someone who has been hurt. And we're talking, one word gets you pregnant, another makes you fall in love. And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking one squiggly octopus.
Oh boy. Yes, folks, we are talking about a content warning for some animal abuse and also death by suicide.
Yeah, lots, well, and incest, if you want to be triggered by that, I guess. But
I mean, spoiler alert.
There's also attempted rape in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So this movie has it all. And this movie is none other than Park Chan-wook's Oldboy.
Yes, the 2003 version. And no, folks, I did not get around to watching the remake because Trace said, ooh, you might actually confuse them because they are very similar.
They are, and we'll just get out of the way now, honestly, because it's
sure.
I have seen Spike Lee's remake. I saw it in theaters, and I have not seen it since. And
okay.
I think my big concern walking into it was, well, they're going to have to water this down because, like, American audiences don't do incest like this.
Not often, unless it's White Lotus.
And I will say, they do retain the twist for the most part. There's a couple tweaks to, like, the minutia of it, but overall, like, it's still very much the incest twist.
Okay.
Except I think the only thing they do is that they have the Woo Jin character played by Sharlto Copley. It's instead of him having a relationship with his sister, it's that their dad was molesting both of them.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a different kind of grim.
Yeah, just a little bit. But either way, that movie is fine. I know it's compromised because Spike Lee, like they made him cut out like 40 minutes of it, so he changed it from a Spike Lee joint to a Spike Lee film. But either way, it is very much an Americanized, just kind of like photocopy of this film. But it's like, if you're curious, honestly, I don't think it's the worst thing ever. But that's my 2 cents.
Okay, good to know.
But Joe,
yes,
do you remember when you first saw Oldboy?
Okay, so this came out It would have come out stateside, yes, right around when I was either transitioning between my third year of university and concluding my undergrad. So I would have watched this. I wonder if the Film Society program did either that, or I probably rented it and watched it with a bunch of like film bro nerds. And I remember being blown away. It was very much like, oh my God, this is Korean Tarantino. I think I'm in love with this ultra violence and the twist. It's so great. And now I watch the film through a different lens because I am more critical, but also I think that is just the wrong way to approach this material. Like, I really like the way it's constructed as a mystery puzzle box narrative, but like, I don't go up or like, oh my God, this movie is so fucking hardcore. Like, I'm not edgelording it anymore.
It does kind of feel like a film bro-y movie, right?
It really does. Like, I saw a number of like, I think capsule time period reviews where they basically said, oh, it's like early Tarantino and or Fight Club. And I was just like, oh boy, like that's things that don't age well. Like, you know, girls, if you go into a dorm room and you see those posters on the wall, you're kind of like, ooh, the vibes have gotten rapey and I'm maybe not going to.
Yeah, I remember because I think I saw this either in like late high school, like senior year, or like freshman year of college, but my own choosing. And I really, really, really liked it. But I remember like, so I took an Asian horror film class in college. I think I said this before.
Oh my God, yes. You have said this, and every time I'm so fucking jealous.
But we also did like things that weren't horror. We did like genre adjacent stuff. So we actually did have to watch both Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance, the first and third part of this trilogy. And I remember specifically so many of the guys in my class were like, oh, we're going to watch Oldboy. And my teacher was like, no, I know all of you have seen Oldboy. We're not going to watch that.
That is too funny. Yes, and I have not actually seen the other two films in this trilogy, so much so that, folks, when we get around to the bloopers at the end of the year or early next year, you will hear me fuck it up because I was just like, this is the first one, and you're like, no, it's not.
It's not. I've seen Lady Vengeance several times, and I really like Lady Vengeance a lot.
Nice.
They're all kind of like different tales of revenge. That's why they're called Vengeance, I guess. That's what they're called, the Vengeance trilogy. But that one's like, oh, a woman is released from prison after, like, you know, she went to prison for murdering a child at a school that she worked at, and she basically like made a bunch of connections. She's let out on a parole, essentially, or whatever that equivalent is in Korea, and she uses all of the connections she made in prison to go after the people that put her in prison in the first place.
So she didn't actually commit the murder, is what you're saying?
Well, there's more to it than that.
Of course there is. It's Park Chan-wook.
Mr. Vengeance, though, I didn't remember as much, and I had to go back and look at the plot. Then it all came back to me. That one is probably the most like emotionally devastating and bleak out of all three films.
Okay. I feel like that's the one that doesn't get talked about quite as much.
It's interesting. I was going through the Blu-ray of Oldboy, in which I have the 2013 Palisades Tartan Asia Extreme Blu-ray that came out. And there's a bunch of extra features on this, including a 3.5 hour like documentary that's basically just like tracking the production from beginning to end with like no talking heads. It's just like a fly on the wall documentary.
You're just there watching them film this.
Yeah, so if you're really curious about the making of this film, I would highly recommend that because it is very extensive. But but there's one where Park Chan-wook is in a classroom being like interviewed by, I'm assuming, college kids, and he talks a lot about how Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance did not get a good reception, and it also bombed at the box office. And so when people ask him, well, what's your favorite between that and Oldboy, he says, well, it's actually Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance because it didn't do well. If it had been the reverse, I might be saying the opposite, but I just feel stronger about that film because I felt like it deserved more than it got.
Yeah, that's got to be tricky, right? Especially when Oldboy ultimately makes such big waves. Like, this is one of the films that brings South Korean, maybe genre films, but maybe just South Korean films in general, to North America in a big way. Like, this movie caused a sensation, and it must be frustrating when you're like, okay, but I've made these other movies and they're also really good and they didn't get this kind of attention. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I would recommend both Mr. Vengeance and Lady Vengeance if you ever get a chance because, but I would maybe start with Mr. Vengeance.
Right.
But, okay, well, let's just go right into this, Joe, because, there so much information about this movie. And there was a 4K release last year that Decal Releasing put out that it's a really gorgeous set with like an octopus on it. But
Ooh.
I think it's out of print because it's selling for more than $200 now.
Folks, we have an Amazon wish list. No, I'm kidding. We don't. But.
Honestly, though, I would take that if you just want to send it to me. So
just the beautiful artwork, right? Like that's my biggest issue with these really like boutique releases in foreign countries specifically, where you're just like, ugh, the shipping and handling is so exorbitant. But man, the art on them is so often incredibly gorgeous.
Yeah, but I will say that Arrow did put out a 4K that's not whatever the UK region is. Although I think
B.
Yeah, but I think a lot of 4Ks are actually like region free after.
4Ks are all region free. It's only Blu-rays and original DVDs that are region specific.
Cool. Well, that 4K was going for £15, so there you go.
Okay, that's not bad.
Anyway, okay. So, yes, Oldboy, second entry in Park Chan-wook's Vengeance trilogy, preceded by 2002's Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and followed by 2005's Lady Vengeance. No sympathy there.
Oh, okay. No sympathy for her, I guess.
No sympathy for her. It's actually, though, I didn't know this, and I feel stupid. Oldboy is adapted from Garen Tsuchiya's Japanese manga of the same name, which was released in 8 volumes containing a total of 79 chapters and 1,600 pages.
Ooh, okay.
Between 1996 and 1998.
Wow. Also, I do kind of love, because yes, folks, we have covered Park Chan-wook twice before. We have talked about Stoker, but also The Handmaiden. And if folks want a bit of a history lesson about the tension between Japan and South Korea, go back and listen to our Handmaiden episode. But also, it's just kind of ironic then that this movie is a Korean adaptation of a Japanese manga.
Right? So, producer Im Sung-young came to Park Chan-wook with a copy of it and wondered if he should put money towards the adaptation. And Park wasn't sure, but the day after their meeting, he met with actor Choi Min-sik, who plays Odesu in the film.
Okay.
And Choi said he would absolutely play the lead part, but only if Park directed it. So he was like, okay, cool. I'm going to do it then.
Sounds good to me.
And that's that. That's how it got made.
Okay. No, I don't know why you had to stumble over it so much just to get that out.
Because I kept expecting something juicier, and it's just the simplest thing. Like, you want to do
I'd like you to direct this? Okay, the answer is yes.
Yeah. So they returned to the producer the same week, and that was that. So I should point out, though, that no script existed yet. It was just the idea of adapting the manga. And the story would differ considerably when all was said and done. So one thing is, though, that a lot of character names were changed. So whenever I'm referring to the manga in this bit I'm doing,
this section, yes.
I'm going to use the film characters' names and like for whatever their counterparts would be.
Helpful, yes.
Yes. So in the original comic book and like in the film, the perpetrator, Lee Woo-jin, shows up frequently, which was one of the main aspects that drew Park to the property. He just thought that was a really interesting way of telling the story. It's like, oh, the identity is a mystery, but it's not because he's kind of there all the time.
Right.
That and the fact that also, because the story where it seems to be Odesu's revenge story, but in actuality, it's Lee's story. So Park wanted to strengthen the villain aspect, though, as he thought it was the most distinguishing point of the film. So the one thing they did do was change Woo-jin's motive by bringing in the incest theme. The incest is not a part of the manga.
Oh, shit. Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. Okay.
So in the manga, his motive is a bit different. So it's more oblique or kind of like, it's not as interesting, I don't think. But basically, Dae-soo is reminded that he saw Woo-jin audition for the school choir as a child and found himself actually moved to tears.
Oh, okay.
Woo-jin was humiliated that somebody understood his loneliness, and he just couldn't handle it. So,
that's a bit more introspective, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So knowing that Dae-soo knew exactly how sad he was on the inside, Woo-jin couldn't be successful without also doubting himself. So we had to get rid of this guy and make him feel bad because he knew that he was sad and lonely.
I'll just get rid of you before you expose me. God.
Kind of, yes. And like he imprisons him for 10 years instead of 15 years. But generally, like a lot of the stuff's the same. He does meet a girl, it doesn't turn out to be his daughter, things like that.
Okay.
Other parts of the story change a lot and the characters change, but like again, the main structure does remain the same.
Right.
For casting, so I've already said that Choi Min-sik was meant for Odesu from the initial conception. Oh, also Odesu, the reason that we switch his name is because it sounds like Oedipus.
Right. Yes.
Although, wouldn't this be Elektra?
I mean, if you approached it from hers, but also I think if you're looking at the original Oedipus, like, he's the one who ends up discovering things at the end. He plucks out his own eye, so he is the one who has to, like, he realizes he has to suffer because the misfortune is his.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay. But here's the thing. So casting the villain, Lee Woo-jin, wasn't easy. And in Park's words, he was a devil, but very weak at the same time. And not many actors could do that, which I found a very interesting quote to say. Like, well, I mean, isn't that acting?
I guess, but you know how sometimes they say, oh, well, I'm looking for, like, the person who can do this thing, and then they audition tons of people and discover, oh, apparently nobody can handle it the way I'm looking for them to do it.
Well, and so it was Choi Min-sik that suggested Yoo Ji-tae, an actor who was about 15 years too young for the role, by the way.
Right.
So they changed the character to be a flexible, weak, and polite character to suit Ji-tae's acting style. Ji-tae is also, like, a really famous actor in Korea, because there's, like, footage of, like, them filming, and, like, there's all these Korean citizens on a bridge screaming his name, interrupting their filming.
Okay. I think it's because he was a model before this.
Oh, that might make sense.
So he might have just been, like, very well known. I mean, also, let's face it, he's so fucking hot.
He is really hot, but he is a petulant child.
Sure, but I mean,
that's the character.
that's part of what makes the villain so compelling.
Yeah, exactly. No, I fully agree. They did do proper auditions for Mi-do, who they wanted to have this duality of being an adult, but also, and especially when viewers rewatch the film, of being a baby.
Yes, indeed.
And I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about that. I find it interesting that we're talking about this character, too, in the wake of our conversations about Courtney and the Slumber Party Massacre.
Yes, yeah. Infantilized, but also sexualized.
Yes. Now, as remarkable as the story of Oldboy is, I do think that one of the most striking aspects about it is its visual style. And so, that's what I'm going to go into a lot here. So, the film's visual style is decided before the storyboard, but, and I love this, before the script was written too.
Okay, so we thought about how we wanted it to look, and then we wrote the script to match.
Yes, because the writing of the script is based upon the chosen style, and the visual style affects the writing style, according to Park.
I mean, it makes sense because some of these setups would have been hellaciously difficult to execute unless you had been planning them from the beginning.
Now, with all of this, like the instructions in the script would change according to the visual style. And I'm assuming by instructions, he means like, you know, like production notes almost.
Sure.
Oldboy is a bit less stylistic than his previous film, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, and Park notes that the instructions in the script were very short for that film and not very detailed, but the ones in Oldboy were much longer and very detailed.
Okay.
Two big elements that he knew he wanted were that the image needed to have low saturation and that he wanted the camera to move constantly.
Yeah, you definitely get that latter part.
Funnily enough, the look they were going for, according to cinematographer Chung Chung-hoon, was, Joe, the Darius Kanji look.
Okay. This is a photographer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh, no, you're going to laugh when I tell you. Joe, that is the cinematographer of Seven, who was also fired off of Panic Room.
Okay, there it is.
Like,
yes.
Everyone, it's weird. Like, we covered Panic Room. We talked about this guy getting fired. We talked about how he shot Seven. And then I think, like in 3 episodes since, we've mentioned him where people are like, oh, yeah, we're going for that Darius Kanji look.
Yeah. I mean, I guess really a tastemaker kind of set a standard that a lot of people were trying to evoke.
Absolutely. Which is interesting because, I mean, this comes out 8 years after Seven. So, yeah, I guess that would have made sense.
Sure, yeah. Plenty of time to reflect on the fact that, oh shit, I really like the way that looks.
Exactly. Now, although it could have damaged the film, they used a process called bleach bypassing on the original negative, which gave them the image they wanted with lots of contrast and a lot of details.
Okay, that's so interesting because I definitely note when we go into the flashback, it definitely gets this desaturated, almost yellowy color, but I didn't really pick up on the rest of the film being that way.
Your flashback is digitally colored.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Now, of course, this is also a film that's shot on film. This is before the age of digital. And I'll go into some of the CGI stuff too, because it's another thing where it's like, oh, CGI was used to enhance a lot of things, but like things that you're kind of like, why?
Yeah, because even as you're saying CGI, my mind drew a blank because I can't identify anything I would have thought was CGI in this film.
Now, through this bleach bypassing process, they obtained the roughness and the low saturation in the image. So as a result, the negative film became grainier, which was the necessary price they had to pay.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Color was also really important here, and Park's first decision was to use a lot of green, especially in the shadows. Now, the bleach bypass process inherently makes a blue-green image, but they used a green filter on the lighting as well, which gave the film an overall rusty look, which is exactly what Park wanted because he wanted to, and I quote, visually express the feeling of decay given that the film was very intense, emotionally speaking.
And it's also an embodiment of the character's mentality, right? Like, in a way, he is... I mean, you could argue that he's really decaying when he's in captivity, but even when he gets out, he doesn't know how to adjust to the modern world. Like, he feels removed from it in some way.
Well, and that's another big difference in the manga, too. So, like, you know, in this, like, he kind of has to stay, like, on low radar because he's also, like, wanted for the murder of his wife.
Yeah, which is a plot point that really just does not matter in the film. It's too funny.
It's only to be like, okay, you can't make a big spectacle of yourself. But in the manga, he doesn't, like, she doesn't get killed. She just, like ditches him and, like, marries someone else because it's
you were gone for this many years.
So him, like, coming back into the real world is more of a sense of wonder where he's like, oh my God, the world has changed, and he's like playing catch up. But I think, again, when it's 1,600 pages, I'm sure there's a lot of like downtime outside of the revenge that's in that book.
Yeah, and here we're making a 2-hour movie and we need to keep up the tension and also, you know, deliver on the vengeance.
Exactly. Now, for those camera movements, in one of these featurettes, Park said that before making Oldboy, his method was that there should always be inner logic for any camera movement. And he wanted to move away from that with Oldboy. So, yeah, exactly. So you're like, whoa, wow. So he, like, for every single movement.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Oh, but not for this film. No. Okay.
So I think it would be interesting to go back and watch Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance to see how often the camera moves, because I would wager it's not that often.
Right. Yeah.
But in Oldboy, even if the camera didn't need to move, he made it move. And similarly, because the film uses waltzes in so many places, I mean, that's kind of one of the main pieces of score used in the film.
Right.
Park would rotate the camera in these moments. Like, he just wanted it to move all the time. And
so it's almost like we're dancing, but then there's this kinetic vibe because everything is always on the move. That's really clever.
Exactly. So he also wanted to use wide shots and big close-ups in conjunction. So they use a telephoto lens on close-ups of Ode-soo and Lee Woo-jin to distinguish them from the background, because basically it would be like they're in focus, but the background is not in focus. But then they would use a wide lens in their confrontation scenes, like whenever he faces him in his own apartment. And this would be to show the space between them. And they would place one of these wide shots, or two of them, in the middle of a scene that was using almost exclusively close-ups to be like, hey, we're on them, but also, remember, look at all the space between them. Visual metaphor.
Right. And also kind of disorienting.
Very much so. But also, a lot of thought was put, I love saying, but also, like, a lot of thought was put to the production design, as if other films don't put a lot of thought to the production design. But so one thing is like, okay, well, for Ode-soo's prison, they didn't want to do like your typical, it's a concrete room with bars everywhere.
Right.
They wanted to express the repetitiousness of everyday life. And so, like, the cross-stripe patterns are used repeatedly, making it look like a second-rate motel room. And the thought was to make life in the room unbearable from that aspect, not, it's just a prison cell.
Right. There's a monotony in how ordinary it is, as opposed to, okay, well, you're in the gulag.
Exactly. And similarly, Ode-soo's room after he's released incorporates a lot of honeycomb patterns. And this is because, apparently, I didn't really know this, but the honeycomb pattern is said to make people anxious. That's also why there's no furniture in his room. There's only characters and the pattern. So the pattern dominates the space.
Right. Oh my God.
By contrast, Lee Woo-jin's penthouse feels very different from the other spaces in the film in that it has a minimalist style, representing the bleakness of Woo-jin's mind. So metal, glass, and coldness were used to show his emotions. And again, there isn't much furniture, and his wardrobe and shower booth are like art objects made of glass.
Yeah. Oh God. I love how they come in and out of the floor because, I mean, as you said, it's minimalist, and part of me, I love that style, even though I'm secretly a hoarder. But Yeah, there's something very... I should not be relating to that character's visual design, but I think part of me just... It screams rich, right? So you're just like, oh, he's got all this money because he's got these toys, so he doesn't need objects.
I was really concerned about the practicality of it, because there's a part where, there's an overhead shot where he's in that armoire, and like they're all closing in, and I was like, could you kill someone in that if they just stood there?
Probably, yeah.
Honestly, I'm a little sad we don't get to do that then. But... Yeah, so filming took place in Busan between May and October of 2003, and I thought that was weird because IMDb has the last date of production as October 2nd, 2003, but the film premiered on November 21st, 2003, less than 2 months later.
Yeah, that seems like a very quick turnaround time for post-production.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if maybe that includes post-production and they just didn't note that, but whatever.
Maybe.
It's IMDb, y'all, so whatever. But it doesn't seem to have been theatrically released in the US until March of 2005 by Tartan.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so wait, did it even go theatrical then, or was it just like home video?
I guess the earliest theatrical release I could find is in March of 2005. So it might have done home video, but either way, the initial US box office take of the film was $700,000 in at most 28 theaters at a time over the course of 6 months.
That's pretty buzzy, and that's pretty extended. So
yeah.
I really, truly did not have a sense of how rapturously this movie was received. Like, I knew that people knew of it, but then, how if you spend too much time around other people who talk film all the time, you just mistakenly believe people know. And then you talk to, a coworker at the water cooler at work, and they're just like, I have no fucking idea what movie you're talking about.
I know. It really feels like we live in a bubble sometimes. And
absolutely.
I'm sure your family feels the same, but yeah, my family, when I'm talking, like, my family would never watch Oldboy because it's
no.
But it's fine. Internationally, Oldboy made $14 million, but including its 2023 re-release in 4K, Oldboy has grossed a total of $17 million worldwide.
Oh, so we added $3 million when we re-released it. Not bad.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember this getting a re-release, and I'm kind of mad because I would have loved to see this in a theater.
Oh my God. Jenny, if you're hearing this, don't kill Trace, because I'm sure she probably told you.
Oh, maybe. Was she involved with that?
I mean, she did a lot of re-releases, so yeah, probably.
That's true. I don't know. Critical reception was overwhelmingly positive. We are looking at an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes, and, well, actually, the 82 is lower than I would have expected, but Letterboxd users have given this a 4.4 out of 5, or an 8.8 out of 10, and I think that might be the highest Letterboxd rating we've had on a film we've covered.
It's been a while, yeah. Usually we don't break past about the 4.1, right? But
yeah.
I have to say, I'm not surprised by the Rotten Tomatoes score. Here's the thing. I think a lot of people can respect this film, admire it, but I feel like there's a bunch of people who will also say, oh, well, the twist is sensational. It's over the top. Like, the film becomes a little gross, a little seedy as a result. Or people could be turned off by the ultraviolence. So I could imagine that there are people who say it's well constructed, but it's not for me kind of deal. Yeah. And maybe it's like that just film bro-y aspect of it, which again, I'm not even using that as like, I enjoyed this movie a lot, but sure. It does feel like that movie that a lot of film bros just like really latched onto at the time. As you said, like a Fight Club type thing. Yeah. Like, oh, what do you mean you haven't seen this movie? We're going to watch it right now. I'm going to watch you as you watch it to see if you're reacting the way I want you to react. This movie fucks, y'all. Yeah. Oh my God. Have you heard of this movie called Oldboy? There's this hallway scene with a hammer. Oh my God. I know. That was actually something really funny too. When I was trying to look up the differences between the manga and the film, there was one that I found. It was like a blog post. It was a personal blog, and they were like going down a list of 10 things, and most of them were pretty helpful. But then they say for number one, there's no hammer hallway fight in the book, and I was like, really? That's your big thing? I mean, it's arguably one of the talking points of the film, so I kind of get it, because I feel like there are moments in this movie, like you're going to talk about the octopus, the incest, and the hallway fight scene, so I kind of get it, but also it's like, yeah, no, we get it. It's a great action sequence, but like, it's not my big takeaway for this film. It isn't for mine either. It is a standout sequence, but I think, I guess for me, it's always the twist. I'm like, I talk about that first before I talk about the hallway fight scene. Yeah. But, okay, that's all I got, Joe. So what happens in this movie? Okay, first, Trace, would you like to play a game?
I want to play a game. The rules are simple. All you have to do is sit here and talk to me.
I have 3 clues for you. It's 1 round only because we got a lot of film to motor through. So 3 different points. I would like you to tell me the title if you can.
Oh boy,
I will be very impressed if you can get this.
Okay.
So this is coming from the Tartan Extreme release. It is a trailer for a movie. So I would like you to tell me the title. Your first clue. This is a South Korean film that we could conceivably cover on the podcast in the future because it features lesbian affairs at an all-girl school.
But it's a Korean film?
Yes.
Oh, God. I don't know, man. I was going to say The Moth Diaries, but that's not a Korean film.
It is not, but we could also cover that film. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But what is it?
Okay. There's 2 more clues, bitch. Did you not listen to the instructions?
No, I thought you meant there were 3 movies, not 3 clues.
No, 1 round, 3 questions.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. Second, technically, this is the 3rd entry in the Whispering Corridor series,
What?
though none of the films are connected.
Give me the 3rd clue.
Okay. This is the logline for the film. A staircase leading to the dormitory of a remote boarding school usually has 28 stairs, but every so often there appears to be 29. When someone steps on the mysterious extra stair, the horror begins.
Okay, that sounds awesome. Is it called the 29th Stair?
No, that would be a good one. You were on the right path, though, so part of the movie is stairs. I was looking for wishing stairs.
I've never heard of this, but that sounds fascinating. That sounds some like just some like nightmare shit.
Yeah. Apparently, it sounded not quite Fatal Framey, but a little bit, maybe just in the visual aesthetic because it's the all-girls boarding school. But yeah, it's like a little bit melodrama, kind of like clandestine affairs late at night. And I think at least one person goes down the stairs from what I heard. So.
I would expect nothing less.
Yeah. Apparently we could do all 3 because they all sort of deal with the same round of taboo subjects. Like there's mysteries, there's a little bit of girl on girl petting, and I don't know. So
mysteries are taboo now?
Well, it's like the nature of the mysteries are often grounded in taboo subject matter. But I couldn't tell if the taboo was actually taboo for South Korea or not.
Oh,
right, that's what we talked about. Like,
I mean,
queerness in South Korea, not always a great thing. So
that's true.
Yeah. Unless you're Park Chan-wook, in which case you make the handmaiden. Okay. Well, thank you for playing my game.
You're welcome.
Cash flow crunch? OnDeck's small business line of credit gives your business immediate access to funds up to $100,000 right when you need it. Cover seasonal dips, manage payroll, restock inventory, or tackle unexpected expenses without missing a beat. With flexible draws, transparent pricing, and control over repayment, get funded quickly and confidently. Apply today at OnDeck.com. Funds could be available as soon as tomorrow. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
All right, so we open this movie with Dae-soo. He is played by Min-suk Choi, and he is dangling a man who is referred to as Suicidal Man in the credits.
Yeah.
This gentleman is played by Kwang Rock-oh, and this man is being held off the roof of a building. So we're just thrown into the thick of it. Scene 1.
Yeah, we're in media res, but at least it's not the end of the film.
True, right? And this isn't some big kind of twist reveal. It's just meant to be like, hey, this is an exciting way to open this movie.
Exactly. And we're like, what's going on? Why is
he going on?
How does he know this man?
Mm-hmm. And the answer is, you gotta wait for it, because first we're going to fade to black, and then we're gonna get a series of very comedic vignettes as an extremely drunk and belligerent Dae-soo is being detained at the police station.
I'm glad you say comedic vignettes too, because I actually did forget how funny this movie was.
This movie's very funny.
Yeah, like, and some of it's really morbid, some of it's not, but yeah, it has a goofy sensibility about itself.
Yeah, and even as we sort of move through to the back half of the film and things get a little bit more real because, we're revealing secrets, I would argue there's still kind of a dark comedic sensibility to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, even once the incest is revealed, there's still some humor there.
Yeah. But in this early scene, it's very much this dude gets really fucked up when he drinks because we are screaming at people. We're rolling on the floor. We're taking our shirt off. I do love that when he is finally collected by his friend, Ju-hwan, who is played by Dae-han-ji, he's basically escorted out and he has basically turned his shirt into a belly top.
Yeah. I'm curious. Do you empathize with Dae-soo a lot in this movie? Or I guess, I know it's boring to be like, do you find them likable? And not that even affects my opinion of the film per se, but right. I do find Dae-soo is a complicated protagonist.
Yeah, we have our ups and downs, me and Dae-soo. Sometimes I think in his situation, I would react the exact same way, right? Like he can be very extra in his reactions to things. And sometimes that's violent. Sometimes that's kind of like explosive outbursts. Sometimes that's crying. It's interesting. So I've only got one reference for this episode. Mm-hmm. It's by JCF Porter for a website called Mirror Stage Blog, and this individual wrote a piece called Masculinity and Melodrama in Oldboy. And it's an interesting piece. Not all of it applies to the kind of conversation we're going to have, but specifically in response to Dae-soo. JFC Porter writes, in melodramas, ecstatic woe invokes tears in the spectator, while in the action film, the feats of a hard body compel the spectator to experience an adrenaline rush. Dae-soo is both an action star and a melodrama victim, constantly screaming, weeping, and thrashing. The protagonist's speech is often delivered in guttural yelps and stutters as he fails to contain his emotion. And I thought that this was an interesting observation, in part because of the dude broiness of the film, right? Where it's like, yeah, he's going out there and he's putting his body into all of these extreme situations where he is fighting people, he is taking licks, and he keeps on going. But also, he is highly emotional, right? And part of me thought, okay, that's interesting, but also it sort of seems emblematic of a lot of Asian cinema, broadly speaking, and then more specifically Korean. Like, we talked about Squid Game Season 3 on the Patreon this month, and part of me was like, I mean, it's not like we haven't seen these kinds of characters before, but it feels so counterintuitive to how North American action stars would be presented.
That actually, I'm glad you brought up Squid Game too, because I do see a lot of comparisons between Dae-soo and Ji-han, because they're also defined, not defined, but they're really, well, actually, no, they kind of are defined by the relationship they want to have with their daughter.
Yes, and also the kind of like, not exactly hetero, not exactly homo kind of vibes between them and their antagonists. Like, I'm going to make a soft queer reading in the course of this episode that, like, these two men are so fucking obsessed with each other that the women in their lives ultimately barely even matter. And I think some people could say, oh, it's because the movie has a weirdly misogynistic bent, which I'm not going to deny. But I do think that in part, like, the way vengeance seems to consume people does also seem to be particularly masculine, at least within this world.
I could easily read into a queer reading of Woo Jin, but I feel even bad saying that because a part of it's because I do read him as kind of effeminate. And maybe it's that childlike nature that Park was talking about when he was wanting to, like, create the character.
I think so. And yeah, like, you know, a similarly complicated individual within the world of this film. Like, these men are emotionally fucked up and they're not processing it. You know, like, we could say men would rather spend 15 years getting revenge on each other than go to therapy for what ails them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be clear, though, I do think Dae-soo is insane for all of this film.
Most of the film. Yeah. Like, driven by need as opposed to, like, maybe stop and take a breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Breath. There we go.
A breathe.
Take a breath. Yeah. Okay. So yes, Ju-hwan comes to collect him. Ju-hwan has a heart of gold. He's like a super helpful character. Obviously, he was going to have to die, so we'll get to that down the road. But for now, just a really great friend, come to collect you because, hey, Dae-soo, it's actually your daughter's birthday. So maybe we shouldn't have gotten so pissed drunk because you at least need to make a phone call wishing her a happy birthday and maybe give her those angel wings that will absolutely not come back in this movie in any capacity.
Well, hindsight's 20/20, but yeah, those angel wings. Ooh.
Okay, so basically we place this phone call so we can wish the daughter a happy birthday, and when we turn to give the phone to Dae-soo, he has disappeared. This movie wastes zero time.
I know. I thought the exact same thing. I was like, oh, he's gone already. All right.
Yeah. Like, I clocked the point where he actually gets out of the room, and it's 18 minutes in. Like, we just motor through this entire movie.
And it's a 2-hour film, but I remember because both you and I thought this was a much longer film before we started watching it. I was like, oh, it's actually exactly 2 hours long.
Yeah. I remember not padding, but just feeling like the film really takes its time with the investigation. And I do still think that, but I don't know where I was getting 2.5 hours from.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so we pick the action back up 2 months later as we see Dae-soo pleading with his captor through a tiny port in what appears to be some kind of hotel room, and we hear via voiceover that he will be here for 15 years.
Yeah, and it goes by quickly for us, but not for him.
No, but we do get to see a bit of what the routine or the day-to-day looks like. So he is only fed dumplings, which I think I would go mad, like fully fucking mad if I had to eat the exact same thing for every meal, every day for 15 years.
I agree.
I could not.
There are worse things. So
there are.
But I agree. But that's where it's like that monotony's coming into the fact, right? Like dumplings are such a prevalent, like, Asian food, not even just Korean food, but like an Asian food. But then I was like, okay, well, that would absolutely suck. But like, what? I don't know. Like, it could be worse. You know, it could be like lima beans all for the rest of your life.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, this movie made me hungry in different parts. And I was like, man, I could go for dumplings right now. But then I thought, do you want to eat dumplings exclusively for the next decade and a half?
I would really hope because there's always this really good sauce that places give you with gyoza, where it's not, it's like soy sauce mixed with like citrus juice. Oh, it's like the best. It's the best thing ever. I love it.
Delicious.
Yeah,
See, now I'm hungry again.
I know.
What the fuck are you doing? Okay, also part of the routine is that we are frequently knocked out by Valium gas whenever they need to cut his hair, change his clothes, clean the room.
So I gathered too, like, because he looks like a Tarzan basically. So do they just let his hair get that long before they decide to come in and cut? Is it like a once a year thing?
It seems like it. It's very infrequent. Yeah. It seems like part of the torture is that they don't actually want him to have any kind of interaction or even the thought that somebody might have been there with him. It's really all about the isolation.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 1 year into his imprisonment, this is when Dae-soo sees the news because there is a TV, so he can entertain himself by watching TV.
That's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, I think in part it's to once again reinforce here's what's happening in the world that you are not a part of.
Right. Yeah. Isolation.
So he learns that his wife has been killed and that he is the prime suspect. So he is absolutely being framed for her murder. And this is the first big instance where he just kind of loses his shit. So he imagines seeing ants crawling all over his body. We get this trippy 360-degree sequence as he smashes the mirror and...
yeah, Joe, I'm curious. You said earlier that you couldn't think of pinpoint a moment of CGI, and I'm curious. Did you think these were real ants?
Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't find this particularly memorable. Like, I find the sequence interesting because part of me is, okay, what are they doing to him? How are they executing it? But like the ants specifically don't really stand out.
For sure. Absolutely. And I actually wanted to point this out. I don't really know how CGI teams work often, but based on these featurettes on this Blu-ray, it seems like, okay, hey, everyone on the team, we're going like one shot at a time. We're going to go through.
Okay.
This was different. Each person on the CGI team was responsible for their own shot in the film.
Oh, how do you ensure consistency?
Yeah, but it was funny though, because some of them were like, yeah, some of us had easy shots and some of us had not easy shots.
Teacher, how come I got the hard shot?
Exactly.
It seems like Trace got the really easy one, and he's already at lunch eating his gyoza.
Yeah, my gyoza and my sauce. Yeah, exactly. No, I'll tell you what one of the hardest shots is later, because you're never going to guess it. But
okay.
They wanted the CGI to have a hyper-realistic look, and so the ant coming out from under his skin was 100% digital, but even the arm isn't real in this shot. So the arm is also digitized.
Oh, that's interesting, because I think the first ant looks okay. Like,
yeah.
if you're not good with stuff under the arm, I think that this would be very upsetting. I think the first one looks fine when we see them all covering his head and face and stuff. I'm like, it's fine. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think this is the most egregiously bad CGI in the film. And so I guess thankfully it gets it out of the way early. But again, like even in this scene, so like lights, shadows, and textures were added digitally in this scene, as well as the motion blur whenever he starts like, going like even more nuts once the ants are on his face.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so we jump ahead to 3 years in, Trace. And yes, he tells us about how he uses the TV as a clock and a calendar, and also a little bit of masturbatory fodder.
I was going to say, but he's like masturbating to just like dancers.
Truly, it's not even, we're watching South Korean version of Skinamax or some kind of sex scene. It's just, here's a girl dancing. And he's like, man, you got to jack it to something.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is also a moment of despair when he attempts to die by suicide. So it's brief, but we do very clearly get to see that he has slashed his wrists, and we will see the scars later on in the film. So he also spends much of his time writing journals of his experiences, but also thinking about who might have done this. And he does confess the list could be long.
Yes, because he doesn't exactly say this exact phrase, but it's kind of like, no one likes me.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because we do kind of get glimmers of who Dae-soo is before all of this. Like, obviously, he maybe had some struggles with addiction or alcoholism, or maybe just like he couldn't handle his booze. That's what the opening scene kind of tells us. But over the course of the film, I'm like, oh yeah, this is part of the reason why people maybe struggle with Dae-soo as a character, is that it just seems like he didn't lead a great life.
Like he was asking for it. Are you victim blaming, Joe?
Yes, that's absolutely what I'm saying. This guy deserved everything. No, but he didn't seem like the greatest guy.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying, like, is he really a likable character where you're kind of like, oh, I really hope you get your revenge, dude? It feels more so it's kind of like, yeah, this sucks this happened to you, but you kind of had it coming. But I still want to find out the answer. Like, I want to know what you did that was so bad that made someone want to do this to you.
Yeah. And I think we kind of need a complicated, flawed character to make the movie work, because if it was a person who had just been living a relatively normal life, hypothetically, they would get out of this and they would try to go back to living a regular, normal life.
Well, and that's something that Park is really into. Like, he's really into not doing the typical archetypes of like hero, villain, things like that. There's nuance. And I think, as unsympathetic as Dae-soo can be, similarly, Woo Jin can be very sympathetic.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, they contain multitudes because they are real people. They're not just, this is the villain and this is the protagonist.
Exactly.
And so on. Even though I'm going to refer to them as such throughout the course of the film.
Absolutely. But I think that's, again, another reason why I keep coming back to this film, where I'm just like, I like seeing these just really well-drawn, like, three-dimensional characters that aren't just one note, good, bad.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right that Park is drawn to these kinds of people because folks, even in the 2 previous films we have covered of his, they follow the exact same pattern. Like, interesting, flawed, sometimes problematic, deeply troubled, fucked up, often homicidal. All traits that apply to his films. Yeah. Okay. Sidebar. If you do enjoy this idea of like somebody being imprisoned and trying to figure out why somebody put them there for many years, gentle recommendation. Matthew Good has a really interesting show on Netflix called Department Q. Almost the exact same plot.
Does the Q stand for queer?
It is not. No, it's basically like, these are cold cases, so it's like you're the least important department in the precinct.
Oh, I like that.
But it's also Scottish, so if you love those accents.
That's actually really funny, because Maggie Q... Oh my god, speaking of Q, Maggie Q has a new show that's literally like, oh, she works in the cold case department that no one wants to talk about, and so like it's her doing that shit.
Oh my god, Trace. Cold cases. So hot right now.
I love it. Revive Cold Case, everyone. Bring that blonde woman from Mindhunters back.
Oh my god. I mean, what the fuck else is she doing right now? Sidebar. We have a Patreon audio commentary on Mindhunters. Bad movie. Good time.
Good time. Absolutely good time.
Okay. So, yes, we're journaling. The years are passing. This is around the time that he starts to decide, well, I'm going to learn how to fight, or I'm going to train myself how to fight so that when I get the fuck out of here, I can land some blows. So we begin punching the wall. We begin tattooing ourselves to keep track of the years so that we can make sure, okay, I'm going to get my vengeance for every single one of the years I've been locked up. And we discover an extra chopstick. So let's begin Shawshanking our way to, I was going to say safety, but no, it's probably easier for him to just stay here. So Shawshank ourselves to freedom. And we get split screen here. So we're getting real life news stories that are happening over these corresponding years in South Korea as he is digging this tunnel. And this covers the final stretch of years 11, 12, 13, and 14 before he finally stretches his hand out into the beautiful rain for the first time in like 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's the little things, right?
I will say, though, one of my favorite touches of just to show you how petty Woo Jin is going to be throughout all of this is that he waits for him to get there. And then we knock out Dae-soo with the gas. And, you know, he goes to sleep saying, one more month. And when he wakes up, he has been released. So it's like, oh, yeah, I watched you do all of this. I knew what you were doing. I waited until you were nearly there. And then I just let you out.
Yep. It's so cruel. And I love it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so part of the way that we let him out is that we invite Miss Yu, who is played by Jang Chae-soo. She is a hypnotist who gives him a prompt, and then this is when he is released from a suitcase on the roof of a building. This is 18 minutes into the movie, and we have caught up with the opening scene.
I really would have taken more of this hypnotist, too, because I feel like she could have been a really good henchwoman for Woo Jin. I mean, she is essentially a henchwoman, but like...
Kind of. She feels like she's a pay for play. Like, oh, you need something? I'll come in. I'm not going to ask any questions and I'm not being bankrolled by you. It's like a transactional thing.
Well, I will say in Spike Lee's remake, so you know how in this version we have like the bleach blonde bodyguard for Woo Jin?
Oh, who's giving Birds of Prey homo bodyguard realness? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In Spike Lee's film, this is gender bent. So we are doing Palm Clementif, who plays like...
I love her.
Yes, Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy. She's in that Mission Impossible movies. Yeah. She's the bodyguard in Spike Lee's remake.
Oh, that's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like that. Okay, yeah. So we're back to the beginning. This is when Dae-soo basically prevents this man from dying by suicide so that he can tell him his story. And then when he finishes, he's like, well, gotta go and get my revenge. And this guy goes, well, let me tell you mine. And Dae-soo just leaves.
Yeah. This is very funny. This dog also dies.
Yes. Animals do not fare well in this world. So he freaks out in the elevator. Part of me... I was like, is it just that he hasn't felt these feelings in 15 years? I read somebody, I think it was even JCF Porter's piece, suggests that it's because he hasn't been around a living woman in so long that he is afraid of being able to control himself with this woman. And that's why she kind of freaks out when we get off the elevator. Like she calls a police officer over and is trying to get Dae-soo arrested. And I was like, oh, I thought it's just because he was acting like a weirdo.
Well, but I mean, that is correct, though, because, as I said, there's an attempted rape later in the film that right? Kind of is why he behaves that way around her.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think we have enough information to know whether he tried to do something to this woman or if he was just acting a little bit, this gentleman is making me uncomfortable. But yeah, he does not know how to interact with people. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, but that was also a very intentional choice on the actor Choi's part, because he was like, I tried to also change the way I spoke, which I wasn't fully picking up on this myself,
right.
Because
this is where the language barrier comes in.
Exactly, but he's like, if you're alone for 15 years and you don't speak for 15 years, like, right. You start to lose, like, if you don't use it, you lose it. So yes. I don't remember if Josh Brolin does this in Spike Lee's remake, but I thought that
would be an interesting choice.
Exactly. So I don't know how exactly he sounds different, but he makes a note where he says, I did speak very, very differently in this movie because of that.
See, this is one of those things. I love foreign films, but there's just that little beat in the back of my mind that says you're probably missing things like inflection or like word choice. Yep. And even sometimes the subtitles aren't 100% accurate to what they're actually saying. And I just think, oh God, like, you just know you're missing little things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't mean I won't do it, because I will watch a foreign fucking TV show and movie in a heartbeat.
I'd rather do that than listen to the dub, because the dub is fully removed. You know?
No, folks, go back and listen to our discussion about Phenomena. Like,
oh yeah,
it just fucks up your brain. I'm convinced of it. Anyway, yes, subtitles always. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Dae-soo is out. He doesn't really know what to do, but he does realize, well, I can't call any of my friends or family because they all think that I killed my fucking wife. So he's like, well, let's test out these fighting skills, shall we? So we just get into an immediate fight with, I'm going to say, a gang of youths.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote. Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote street thugs.
Okay, street thugs, yes. I mean, there's nothing consequential here except for the fact that, okay, he can actually handle himself and he can take a hit as well. Yeah,
which that was something too, like, you know, watching him exercise essentially in that cell. I was just like, oh, God. I mean, I get it. Like, you must be bored. Like, you got to do something. But I'm just like, oh, God, that seems like so much work.
Gotta stay fit, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I will say one of the attention to details that I really loved is the makeup job on his knuckles. You can see all of the scarring from where he hit the wall so long for so many years. Mm-hmm. And like, we get repeated shots, but like, good attention to detail, because I would have forgotten to show.
I thought the same thing, because the first time I saw it, I was like, what is that on his hand? But then I was like, oh, right.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so let's kick the investigation and the intrigue off. So Dae-soo is just sitting on the curb, pondering his luck. He has like no money, nowhere to go. And then a man walks up to him and gives him a phone and a wallet and explains, don't ask me any questions. I don't know anything. Leaves.
And I think if you were watching this for the first time too, this is when you're like, what?
There is a nefarious plot. I mean, obviously, right? Who paid for this place? You know, he was getting meal deliveries every fucking day. So clearly someone did this to him. But also you start to realize, oh yeah, somebody put a lot of time and attention into this. So
my thing is too, like, you could easily make like an Oldboy like cinematic universe, because there's a bunch of people in floor 7.5.
Truly. Oh my God, let's John Wick it up.
Yeah.
This is now like the reverse Imperial Hotel, and everybody is getting out and wanting their revenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, the first thing he does, well, I'm super fucking sick of eating the same thing. I would love some sushi. So we go into this seemingly the first restaurant that we see, and he is served by this cute young woman named Midu, as you said, Haejung Kang, and she seems to recognize him, but we hear in his voiceover that he has obviously never been here before because he's been in prison for 15 years. And in hindsight, you're like, oh yeah, okay. That makes sense.
That's actually like rewatching this movie. It's a thing where I'm like, wow, it's so obvious she's his daughter. But
right?
I think maybe it's because, and maybe even for Western audiences too, where we're just like, well, incest never even factors into the equation of what this movie's
it's not
going
where
to
my
do.
Head jumps to.
Exactly.
Admittedly. Yeah, so she's eavesdropping on a phone call that he receives on this cell phone. And this antagonist, you know, we don't even get to see the face. Like, the face will remain obscured by a hat, or we will see kind of like almost an extreme close-up. So we can never really get a sense of who this person is. Again, over time, it will become clear that Woo Jin is actually around him almost all the time. But for now, he's just saying, I'm an expert on you. I encourage you to study your entire life for answers. And then we offer this proverb about how multiple objects will sink into the water, but that doesn't make them the same.
Yeah.
And then we end this conversation with a not at all homoerotic line reading of, I miss you. Come quickly.
That plays into your queer reading, does it?
I mean, a little bit. It's basically like, you're always on my mind. I'm super excited to have this adventure with you, right? Like, I hate you so much, but also I'm obsessed.
Mm-hmm.
Trace, let's eat an octopus.
Oh boy. So I thought for sure this was CGI, and
this is animal cruelty, isn't it?
I mean, well, it's not a common thing, because they do talk about this quite a bit. But so, they had to do 4 to 5 takes of this because the live octopi were not moving like they were supposed to.
As in thrashing death throes, I'm being consumed?
Yes, the last one was. But also, this actually is very dangerous. Like, you could die eating a live octopus like this. And
oh my God.
Because the tentacles could suction cup inside your throat and just clog your throat like that if it doesn't go down into your stomach.
Right.
But you can. But this is also, they make a point to say, this is not just like an everyday thing that Koreans do. We're not just sitting around eating octopi. But it is, in certain places, something you can do.
Yeah, it struck me as something of a delicacy. Like, I imagine this would be expensive. This would be something you would do for a big deal, a celebration of some kind.
I mean, of course, eating octopi is a bit like frowned upon now because now that we know they are very, very, very intelligent creatures. Yeah. So some people like swear off octopi in general. I really like octopi in sushi, but it's fine. Actually, baby octopus skewers too. Love those.
Okay, so a friend of the animals, you are maybe not.
Just they're already dead.
Well, by the time you're ordering them, let's be real. We're not getting fresh octopus anytime anywhere in the places we live.
I mean, it's one of those things, but I always, this live octopus bit, I always kind of put on the same level as balut, like the duck fetus egg thing, where I'm like, I'm an adventurous eater. I don't know if I could eat either one of those things.
Yeah, this just doesn't look pleasurable. And like to the point that even as you watch Daesu do it, it looks like he's doing it just to do it.
Oh, he is. Like, because he wants to eat a living thing. So he's trying to like consume and experience life through another thing.
Yeah, like I'm dead inside. What happens if I put a living being in my mouth and just consume it? Perhaps that will revitalize me.
To me, it's always the tentacle that gets stuck on his nose.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of upsetting. In some ways, though, I feel like Park Chan-wook rectifies it, or even maybe pays a gentle homage to this, because, of course, there is an octopus in The Handmaiden, and you have to think that was purposeful.
Yes, I have to believe that.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, we eat this octopus, and then this server, Miru, she reaches over and she touches his hand, and he just immediately passes out.
Which, that will become important later, but like I didn't clock the hand touching whenever this happened. I thought he just like got choked in the
just
octopus.
Like for one reason or another. Yeah, like maybe the food went down wrong, maybe he was exhausted, he's having some kind of breakdown. But no, there's a very specific insert shot of her touching his hand, and bam, he goes out.
Well, and there is something too where one of these college kids in this featurette asked Park Chan-wook about like, why is there so much hand imagery in the film? Mm-hmm. And it's because of the suicide scene at the dam, because it's meant to represent, him letting go of her hand.
Yeah. And also, just if you think about it, it's one of the most common forms of intimacy that we have with another person. Like, even if you're not being sexual, right? Because we would often think, oh, okay, well, if you want to be intimate with someone, you would kiss them, you would hug them. But these are meant to be strangers, allegedly. So the touch of a stranger with the hand connotes that kind of, oh, okay, this is someone who is gentle, caring, and so on.
Yes.
Or if it's two women, it's lesbians. Okay, so he wakes up in her apartment. She has been reading his journals. He's very possessive of this. So we've got a bit of a strained relationship. We need to figure out how to interact with one another. As we said, he's still not good with people because he's been locked up for so long. So I think she immediately realizes, I have brought a strange old man into my apartment. So she goes to the bathroom with a knife. And then this is where this movie has not aged super well part comes in. So he just rushes in and kisses her. And I think that this is a moment that plays comedically, but also this is a sexual assault. And she does manage to handle herself well. She bonks him in the head with the butt of the knife, and he ends up apologizing. But then she apologizes for leading him on, and will even say, it's not that I don't want to have sex with you, it's just not right now, but don't worry, it'll definitely happen. And even if I resist, just keep going. And I was like, fuck.
And I think when you know the end of the movie and that you know that hypnosis plays a very large part in her character, that makes this maybe not an easier pill to swallow, but it is less icky because it is weird when you're watching and you're like, girl, like, why are you just submitting yourself to him like this?
Yeah, you don't know him. There is a huge age gap, which is not to suggest that young women and older men don't happen quite frequently, if we're being honest. But yeah, like there's just something a little bit odd about this. And I think, again, she presents extremely young.
Yes.
So I think that's the other thing is like, is she a little sexually inexperienced? Does she just not know how to interact with men in the way that he is struggling to acclimatize back to dealing with anybody?
I think the oldest she presents is during the octopus scene because honestly, I think she looks, I mean, granted, obviously her hair is up and everything, but like she looks completely different and she does look very mature in the sushi bar. But from the moment she takes him home and her hair, she gets the bangs, like, yeah,
she looks like a kid.
She gets more and more childlike as the film goes on, and also in the way of her line deliveries, I would say too.
Yes, yeah, she's very, I was going to say sympathetic to him, but I think it's even more than that, right? Like she is very submissive to him.
Yes, absolutely.
And there's portions where, you know, she has agency, like she's actually doing a fair amount of legwork when it comes to the investigation and so on.
But it's all in service of him, though.
Exactly. Like he becomes her whole world. And I think on the first time watch, especially if you're watching it from a contemporary perspective, you're probably looking at it and saying, what is her fucking deal? Like, is she even a character or is she a Manic Pixie sushi dream girl?
Well, but I think that this next bit, her story about loneliness and the ant in the subway, that's meant to really inform as to why she's behaving like this. Like, she's a very lonely person, even though she's a gorgeous girl who could probably get any guy she wants.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like, stunning, gorgeous. But yeah, so I'm glad you said that because I had completely forgotten about this. It's admittedly very, very brief, but it is this moment of surreal wackiness, right? Where, she's talking about feeling lonely and then she sees this lone ant. And it is, folks, we're not talking about an ant. It's a giant ant, like a human-sized ant on the subway.
Yeah. And so this is the thing where I was like, okay, this is clearly CGI. And it is in the sense that, here's the thing. They had a life-size ant model that they were using in all these shots.
Okay.
But they and then they had someone, someone puppeteering the feelers from below. But here's the thing: they added the hair digitally, and they added color textures digitally. So but I would argue this looks like just a fully CGI creation. It doesn't look that great, by the way. And it's like the thing where I'm like, okay, but you had this big puppet and you were using it, but you CG'd over it to add the texture, these color textures you wanted. But it gives it this sheen that makes it look fake.
It's the uncanniness of it. It's interesting that you say that. I definitely thought that this was actually man in a suit, but there is something, there's something too whimsical and artificial about it. And I wasn't sure if it was just the size, but now that you're saying, oh yeah, we touched over it on CGI, that's it, right? The fact that our eyes can spot it is always so wild to me. Like, one of my most important film instructors was very much like, there are certain things that you will just never be able to buy is real if they do it in CG. One of them, he said, was blood. Like, if you tried to do blood as CG, people will always notice.
And we keep trying to do it.
We keep trying to do it because it's so cheap, Trace. And it's like, but it also looks like fucking shit.
But I do think that the fact that it's not a dream sequence, it's like a fantasy sequence.
A little bit,
It makes this kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, it's like an Alice in Wonderland, like CGI blob. Sure, whatever, it's fine.
You know, as you were describing it and your experience with it, I was thinking, it's almost like Amelie. And you know what?
Yes.
That's who she feels like.
Oh my God.
She feels like a fucking Korean Amelie.
You are totally spot on.
It's wild. That is not something I ever thought I would say on this podcast.
There you go. Hey, first time for everything.
Okay, so let's begin the investigation. I love that it's like, okay, we're going to do this, and it's not just going to be Dae-soo. Like, Mido is going to also get involved. And we clarify that by starting with a point of view of her. So she goes into this pawn shop so that she can get information from this woman about his daughter. So we will quickly learn that his now presumably teenage daughter was adopted to a Swedish couple and she was raised there. So we do have a phone number for her. And then we also have a location of the dead wife, We have a location for her grave. And he says, cool and cool. Not going to do either of those things until I get my revenge.
Well, mistake number 872.
Well, if anything, I think this is a very telling piece of character detail, right? You know,
well,
if you got out of this experience and it's like, okay, I still have a connection. I have a blood relative, like the daughter, the person I was literally supposed to go and see the day of my abduction. I've missed her entire fucking life. But instead of reconnecting, I need to know why this happened to me. Well, like, he's very selfish.
And especially on a rewatch, though, I am wondering how much is the hypnosis playing a part of this, though? Like, we will get an answer later with a lot of stuff, but it's also just like, I mean, technically, he could have just been hypnotized for everything he's doing.
Yeah, I don't know. The fact that we get very specific, like, Woojin will say this and this and this were prompts. When this happened, you would do this, right, or you were directed to go here, but he doesn't elaborate on anything after this kind of initial bit. So I don't know. Part of me thinks this is just, oh, I knew who you were, Dae-soo. I studied you and I knew how you would react.
Yeah, it's more so, it's like I set the playing field and I set you up, but you still made the choices.
Yeah, you could have walked off and refused to play, but oh no, you had to go back into the Squid Game. I mean, sorry, you had to go back into the Old Boy.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so we're not going to talk about the daughter. We're not going to visit the wife's grave. We're going to focus on the food trays. So dumplings every day for 15 years. But I remember that there was a logo for Blue Dragon. So let's go to every single one of these motherfucking outlets and test the food until we figure out which one was providing the food, and then we will trace it back.
Yeah, and he just vomits and vomits and vomits.
It's very gross. Yes. So there is a minor setback that will separate Dae-soo and Mido briefly, because he discovers that she has been unknowingly chatting with his captor in an online chat room. Trace, do you remember chatting with strangers on the internet?
I sure do. And I remember the way not with the Asian characters, but like, you know, it was just like this. The lo-fi-ness of this all really brought me back.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that even as we see her chatting to this person, we can, like, they have their video cameras turned on. So this is like another brief glimpse of Woojin, but we obviously can't really make out his face beyond what's happening. And we will even come to realize that he's actually employing someone to do some of the chatting as well.
Yeah.
So all this to say, Dae-soo doesn't trust Mido anymore, because he's saying, well, how do I know you're telling me the truth if you're actually chatting with the person who fucking did this to me? So he leaves her behind so that he can follow the food delivery guy from the restaurant in the hopes of trying to get back to whoever put me up in the hotel prison.
And again, this happened so much earlier in the runtime than I would have expected. Like, we're already going back here.
Yeah, it's like the domino pieces are just falling because we are putting everything together with very minimal effort. It's not like, we get the montage of him going to all these different restaurants, and presumably that would take some time. But in the world of the film, the language of the film, it's like we are cooking. We are just cruising through these clues.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so we end up in this building, and yes, it's not quite the hallway fight scene just yet, but I remember seeing like film theory textbooks that had this still shot of Dae-soo holding up this hammer with the doot 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 line directly going towards the guy's head.
Line again. That it's a really funny beat.
It's funny. It's playful. It's visually hugely compelling. Yeah. And here's the other funny thing, right? And I'll bring JCF Porter back in here. We don't see a ton of violence in this. Like, a lot of the violence, we basically do what this shot tells us. It's like, I'm going to set it up and you know what's going to happen, but I'm not actually going to show the point of contact.
Yeah.
So Porter says, some of the most memorable moments of violence are taken in close-up, but cut away before showing the crucial blows. What matters in these scenes is that the audience is grossed out by the threat of violence. Whether or not they witness any gore, the shots are held for long enough to stoke anticipation and to feel discomfort regarding the fragility of our own bodies.
I thought that on the rewatch too, where I was like, I mean, it's violent, but it's not like I feel like I always hear about this movie being talked about as like an incredibly violent film. And it's like, we don't show a lot of those impacts. And especially when we get to the tongue later, it's like, oh, we don't show it. Yeah.
No, it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre of fucking Korean revenge films.
Well, especially with these teeth, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let's introduce Mr. Park, played by Del Suo.
Oh, fun fact, though.
Yes.
Guess who plays this part in Spike Lee's remake?
Who?
Samuel L. Jackson.
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is fun. Wait, does he have gold teeth?
I think so. I think he does. But yeah.
Not helping the Tarantino comparisons, by the way.
I mean, when he gets them replaced, they're probably gold.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so Mr. Park is basically an employee. He mans the control room. He's got all of these rooms with surveillance cameras. And you're right, there's a ton of people who have just been put up here. And yeah, I think there could be fascinating stories to be told here. Like, you know, because we even put Mi-do into one of these rooms later on for her own protection. So it's not even I'm punishing you. This is a safe house. We're going to hide you here for a bit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but I don't think anyone else is using this for a safe house.
Probably not, because Mr. Park gives dodgy vibes, to say the least.
Yeah, he's a sleazeball.
Yeah, he's very sleazy, so we need some information about him. Hey, who gives you these orders? Who is this guy? How do I get in touch with him? And Mr. Park says, I'm not going to tell you anything. So we've got a hammer trace. We need to take out some teeth.
Yeah, and so we don't get the shot of the tooth actually coming out, but we do get the start of the blood flow out of the gums. And that alone makes me wince.
It's very upsetting. And also, we shove a white towel in his mouth. And then when we cut back after Dae-soo is looking for the tapes, because we learn, I recorded all of these like conversations and footage and so on. So Dae-soo grabs this box of tapes, and then we cut back and we see that the towel is completely red now. So we've been bleeding a lot from those gums. It's like a bad trip to the dentist, really. You should floss more, Mr. Park. Okay, so we're not getting out of this building without a giant fucking fight scene. So let's talk about the hallway fight.
Okay, what about it, Joe?
So this is basically a single long take, and the camera, as you said, is always moving. But here, the camera only moves with the action. So if Dae-soo is moving to the right, which is where he is looking to go to get through this mass of armed men, then the camera will move with him, but keeping him in the center of the frame. And then if he loses ground or has to go back to, say, pick up his hammer or something like that, then the camera will move with him. This is wild. Like, I'm actually hoping you have some kind of insight as to how they shot this, because it's uninterrupted. So it's a long take. We're not editing around this for the most part. And like, some of these guys are terrible. They're not really landing blows. They're just swinging wildly. But some of this is like, we're just like fully fucking punching people in the face.
I wish I had this is the magic trick they did. So the original plan was to do this with lots of special effects, with wires, and 100 shots, like lots of cuts. And at some point, I don't know if it was Choi Min-sik himself, the actor that plays Dae-soo, who suggested it, but at some point, at his behest, he was like, because they knew that if they were going to do it in one shot, it was really, he had to do a lot, and learn the choreography and whatever. And he was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And so really, it's only because of him where they kind of floated the idea, but they're like, no, we can't make him do this. And he said, nope, I'm going to do it.
Wow. Do you know how many takes they did? Because surely we didn't pull this all off in the first try.
It wasn't the first. I don't know how many takes it was, but it wasn't as long as you think it was going to be. And I will say the knife in his back is CGI.
Oh, interesting. See, I wouldn't have guessed.
No. I thought it was like a little thing.
Like a prop knife.
Yeah, exactly, on his back. But no, that was all digitally added. So honestly, I saw more about the making of this scene, of them adding the knife digitally, than I did about them actually shooting the fight scene.
Okay. Is this one of the hard ones? Or is that still to come?
Nope, that's still to come.
Okay, exciting stuff. Yeah, I had forgotten about the knife in the back, so it's all the more impressive. Like, in some ways, this is demonstrating just how strong and committed Dae-soo is, right? You know, I'm getting a slice, never mind a full-on knife stuck in my back for the better part of an action scene. Like, I'm out. Nope, sorry. I'm giving up on this quest. I'm going to go find my daughter. I'm going to shed a tear or two at my wife's grave. I'm going to never eat a dumpling again. But I'm done. he just powers through. And I do love that there are moments where everybody looks winded, exhausted. You know, let me just take a breather before we maybe try to land a few more blows.
I think too, like, because obviously your eyes go to Dae-soo because he's like the center, as you said, of every shot of the shot. Yes. But I think it's more fun to actually watch all the other guys and see what they're doing.
I love he's kind of the final guy in this first round. He's shirtless, slightly bigger than the rest of the guys, and he's just kind of like on the ground, huffing and puffing, occasionally swatting at Dae-soo, I think with a stick or something. And he's like, I gotta keep going, but also I'm super exhausted.
And again, it's all very funny. It's brutal, but it's funny.
Well, and then we get this even better comedic beat where we finally make it to the end of the hallway. We press the elevator button. We just see Dae-soo's giant smile light up because, oh, look, we've got an elevator full of new people for me to take out my vengeance and my wrath and my rage. And we just, again, cut from that to then the elevator doors opening on the ground floor as all of these unconscious bodies fall out.
It's so good. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Super good. And you know what? It works really well in that second Captain America movie as well.
Oh, well, there you go. See, they're ripping it off.
We do this with Chris Evans, where he gets into an elevator with Frank Grillo and a bunch of other guys, and then we open the door and they're all unconscious.
Okay. That's actually one thing I can't remember from Spike Lee's movies, if he incorporates the comedy. I don't think he does, but I genuinely can't remember.
Yeah, see, and I haven't seen enough Spike Lee joints to know if he does comedy well, or is that something that he's just not as comfortable with?
Or just doesn't want to do.
Well, yeah. Like, it's one of those things where I think by virtue of being a foreign film, this version of Oldboy gets to play with the genre conventions in a different way that if you do this in English with North American or North American friendly, we'll say actors, I think people take it like, well, you're saying you're a revenge film. We need you to be tense, hard hitting. Action's gotta do it.
Right. Well, and it's Josh Brolin too. Like, I mean, actually, no, I'm sorry. Josh Brolin can be funny.
He can play funny. Yeah. See, now I kind of want to go and check it out.
I know. Well, after we've done this discussion, you can do it. Yeah.
Okay. So we have sustained a few injuries, not just the knife, but also we're bleeding relatively profusely from the face. So Dae-soo is just out on the street, wandering about, bleeding. And we do get this line where he says, "Now I have become a monster. When my vengeance is over, will I go back to being Dae-soo?"
I don't think.
Okay, so you're saying I don't think that's going to happen.
Well,
obviously,
I don't think he's ever like he's not going to go back to who he was before he entered that cell.
I mean, how could you?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Like, I mean, yeah, I think he's like cracked. Like for this entire film, he's cracked.
But I think this is also in some ways a thesis of the film, right? Like as we learn more about what drives Dae-soo, but also Woo Jin, we realize vengeance is this all-consuming entity, right? It kind of just kills off any other aspects of your personality. So like, who is Dae-soo if he doesn't have this? And we will come to discover no one. That's why you've literally got to erase your mind again.
And I think that's also why, though, you should watch all three entries in this Vengeance trilogy, because they're all about vengeance, but they're all also kind of like different, like, you know, how vengeance affects people differently, or like different ways that like vengeance can like fuck someone up. And I think it's really interesting to compare them, to juxtapose them.
Yeah, because in some ways, I mean, when you were describing Lady Vengeance, no sympathy, I was actually worried that you were going to say it's a rape revenge film.
No, it's not.
Because I feel like that's a much more classic kind of archetypal version of the vengeance story, right? It's like, oh, well, it's really easy to justify losing everything in your quest to get revenge if you were sexually assaulted.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's not that type of thing, but I will say, like, you know, like much like how incest is kind of the taboo thing in this movie, there are taboo things in both all the vengeance films.
Right. I mean, you did mention that the inciting incident is that she's accused of killing a child, which is still a taboo a lot of the time.
Exactly. And of course, there's more to that than, you know, you think.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, always more than meets the eye in a Park Chan-wook film. Okay, so he's bloody, he's walking the streets, he passes out in the middle of an intersection, and he is helped by a Good Samaritan, who is, of course, played by Ji-tae-yu. And this individual, we don't really get to see his face still, so we note that he is wearing a kind of periwinkle blue jacket, but he's got like a big cap that covers a lot of his face, and we're strategically framing the actor so that we don't really get a good sense of what he looks like.
But he is smug as fuck putting him in this cab.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So we throw Dae-soo into a cab, give the address of Mi-do, and then acknowledge Dae-soo by name, just to say, hey, I know who you are, which means you should know who I am, but bye! Okay, so Dae-soo once again wakes up in Mi-do's apartment, and he listens to the tapes that he collected from Mr. Park to try to glean some insight into who this individual is, and he hears this mystery man declare that Dae-soo talks too much, and he kind of latches onto that, so we know this is important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But also, we're seeing he's being photographed right now, which means that someone, even if they have a giant lens for their camera, they must be somewhere relatively close with an unobstructed view. So somebody's nearby, basically.
And again, I love this. I said this earlier, but it's the fact that we introduce the villain so I think just
we're
before
teasing
the halfway point. But but still, he becomes more of a character, and it's not just we're not saving his reveal for the third act.
Yes, which I think would be a huge mistake to do. The cat and mouse is so much more exciting because it really reconfirms it's not about what I did to you, it's about why I did it. And don't you want to pursue that? Yeah. Okay. So the next day, Dae-soo visits his old friend, Ju-hwan, who now owns an internet cafe. Trace, do you remember internet cafes?
I don't, actually. I've definitely heard of them, but I don't think I ever went to one.
Yeah, I gathered they're not as popular, or they were not as popular here in North America. But if you watch... Again, I'm making a broad generalization. If you watch Asian films from a certain period in time, usually in the aughts, you will see these things pop up all the time. And I've always wondered if it was a cultural thing where people just didn't have internet at home, or if it was cheaper. I know that they often pop up with gaming stuff. So gamers would go and play in this sort of communal space.
I wonder if it's also, oh God, I could just be spitting in the dark here, but if it's also kind of a government monitoring thing.
Oh, maybe.
If it's in a business, then they can do that. And maybe they, I don't know.
Folks, if you have insight, let us know. Hit us up. So, so Ju-hwan owns this internet cafe, and he will be a valuable source of information. But in this moment, he basically just says, hey, good to see you again. Also, it seems like your story suggests that you should be looking very closely at the people in your life. This is someone who knows you, someone who is close to you. So pay close attention to that.
I mean, that's the thing, though, right? Because this, again, to me, makes him less likable, which, again, doesn't matter, just whatever. But, he doesn't, it takes him forever to remember who this guy is.
Yeah, it's funny. So I mentioned Department Q earlier. That's the Matthew Good show. And it's kind of the same thing. Basically, they're torturing this woman and saying, how do you not know the reason that you're in here, that we've done this to you? Do you honestly have that many fucking people that you've screwed over, you stupid bitch? Mm-hmm. And it's in this one, the woman is a prosecutor. So it's she interacted with a bunch of criminals, or she fucked over a bunch of witnesses and different things. But yeah, this is confirmation to Dae-soo. Okay, yeah, when I was filling out all those journals with all those names, I got a lot of people who would maybe consider doing something to me. So let's visit the space of said villain. And this is our introduction to this palatial space that Woo-jin lives out of. And we see him crafting a scrapbook of the photographs that he's been taking of Dae-soo, but also dictating chat responses under the handle Evergreen.
Evergreen, which will become important soon.
Yeah. Okay, so Dae-soo basically ran out on Mito when he realized that she was chatting to this guy online. So he didn't have a chance to really interrogate her. So he comes back so we can ask her a bunch of questions. But then Ju-hwan calls him up and says, hey, I've got an address. And it's literally across the street from you. I told you it was someone in your close proximity. It doesn't mean it's the girl whose place you're crashing at. It's the dude across the street.
Yes.
So we run over there, and this is our first interaction of protagonist and antagonist face to face, and Dae-soo is given instructions. You need to find out my identity, find out why I'm doing this, which I would argue is what we're already doing.
Right.
But now we have a deadline, Trace. You have until July 5th, which is 5 days from now. And oh yeah, if you don't figure it all out, I'm going to kill Mito.
In the graphic novel, by the way, this is something where instead of killing the Mito character, it's I will kill you. Otherwise, if you figure it out, I'll kill myself. So that's the same.
Okay, so 50-50.
Yeah.
How do you want this to end, right?
Exactly. The adaptation process is so interesting, but yes.
Yeah. I would argue this is a bit more of a traditional incentive. You know, we're making Mito the damsel in distress, which I would normally have a lot of issues with, or I would just be less interested in, but I think the twist does save it in that capacity.
This is a film that rewards rewatchability.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So Dae-soo briefly attacks, considers, well, maybe I'm just going to beat the shit out of you. But this is where we introduce Chekhov's remote-controlled pacemaker. This is where, yes, our villain will basically say, oh, I've got a weak heart. So if you try to do anything to me, I will probably die. But also, I will just press this button and kill myself. And then you will never know the truth. Don't you want to know the truth?
So make sure you don't take this button from me anytime.
Absolutely. Never go for the button. Okay, so our villain and his bodyguard, Mr. Han, who, yes, is played by Byung-ok Kim, they leave. And then before they go, though, they remind Dae-soo, hey, didn't you leave Mito alone? So we run back across the street. Mr. Park is there torturing her. This is not great.
Yeah, she's topless.
She's topless arbitrarily, just so that we can really ratchet up the, oh wow, she is so vulnerable, she's so female, look at what we could do to her, the implications of sexual assault are there. I mean, she's being groped, but the suggestion that worse could happen if Mr. Park is not settled or dealt with. But Dae-soo cannot fight all these guys, but thankfully a briefcase full of money is delivered, and they leave of their own accord. So clearly, our villain really wants to make sure that certain things happen in the way that he anticipates.
Well, and we'll learn soon that, so much... We know he's puppeteering all of this, but,
yes.
Even more so later, he's puppeteering more than we even realize.
Yeah, question for you. Did you ever actually believe that Mr. Park was not on the payroll or that he could be trusted?
Once he gets his arm cut off, yeah, I honestly did. Because it's been a couple years since I don't think I've watched this since I was preparing to watch Spike Lee's remake in 2013. So, I mean, it's been at least
a decade.
Yeah, it's been a decade. And so I couldn't remember how this played into it. I couldn't remember if this guy eventually became his ally, which is how the film presents it. But I bought into it. It's yeah, of course, he cut off his arm. He probably wants to get vengeance on him too.
Yeah, and of course we do get Mr. Park saying, well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So
Yeah. And you know me, I like it when good guy and bad guy have to team up for something.
Sure.
And I just bought into it immediately because I'm a sucker like that.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the movie gives us a ton of reasons to be suspicious of this, specifically, as you said, after we chop off a hand. It's like, oh, okay, I think you're invested in this. You maybe want your own brand of revenge now. But yeah. I guess just in hindsight, you realize, no, this guy's shady. We literally described him as shady when he was introduced. So why would we think he has changed his stripes?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dae-soo and Mito decide, we're going to run. We're going to flee. So they get a rental car, and we immediately get confirmation that the villain can hear them. So we have bugged this car or bugged them, and he's hearing everything that they're saying, all parts of their conversation. And he asks Mr. Han, could the girl have fallen in love with Dae-soo in such a short amount of time before he himself admits that he is lonely? And I made the comparison that this feels very Birds of Prey, like Ewan McGregor and Chris Messina, not just because of the bleach blonde hair, but, you know, it has that kind of, you're the only person that I can really confide my feelings in as we execute these dastardly plans.
Now I'm actually wondering if Kathy Yan like used Oldboy as like a model for the Ewan McGregor and Chris Messina characters, because they actually, because Ewan McGregor is a petulant child in that movie as well.
Right? Yeah. I mean, this could just be a common sort of character stereotype to build off of. Like,
sure.
I think inherently weak villains can be really interesting to watch because I think it makes them more complicated, as opposed to I'm super strong and I just want to take over the world or, you know, make a bunch of money or something. Like, that is so inherently less interesting to me. But I don't know. I mean, I can't remember. I think both the characters are real in the comics for Birds of Prey, so it's not like we invented queer-coded sidekick or anything.
They are, but Black Mask, Ewan McGregor's character, is not characterized like that, and maybe
he's not a flashy dandy who wears brightly colored suits.
No, he's like your typical, like, he's just a mob boss.
Yeah, boring.
Yeah, exactly. He's very flamboyant in Birds of Prey.
Oh my god, love it.
I know,
love
it's so good, so good.
Okay, Trace, let's talk about this sex scene. So we have made a run for it. We stop at this dive motel, and Mido makes good on her promise that she will fuck him. So even though it hurts, this is something that she's willing to quote-unquote endure for him, which I hate.
This is creepy. This is it gives me, even before I know that she's his daughter, like, this gives me the ick factor.
It's just very, like, I get it. Especially, I mean, I think this is coded virgin as well.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
But it's like, yeah, you know, first times, they're not always super pleasurable. They don't always go the way you maybe think they were going to. Sometimes there's a little bit of bleeding. Like, things do happen. But this is very much presented as, I'm sacrificing my body and my pleasure so that you can go to Pound Town. And it's like, Dae-soo doesn't even care. He doesn't stop at any point. And I'm just like, oh, this is another reason to not exactly love this character.
Yeah, and she, again, like, you're right, the virginal thing is kind of weird, but she feels younger in this scene.
Yes, yeah, she just, you're not wrong. She definitely feels like she is almost aging in reverse over the course of the film, where she becomes increasingly more childlike.
Yeah, and more dependent on him.
Yes. Gross. Ick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, thank you. Anyway, it serves the movie's purpose, but it's not great to watch.
Well, either way, they immediately get gassed in this hotel room.
Uh-huh. This is how powerful our villain is. And I love it. It's creepy, but also, I'm going to say slightly romantic, where we've got him appearing in a gas mask and then laying on the bed like, hi, I want to be a part of this because I'm lonely. I'm starved for intimacy. I want to be a part of what's going on. And we should note that our villain does stroke Mido as opposed to Dae-soo. So
yeah, but he's also kind of like looking at Dae-soo, and because obviously, like, this is kind of like the linchpin of his plan, is to making sure that they fucked. So like, he's like, oh cool, halfway there.
Uh-huh. Yeah, look at my handiwork. I'm just going to literally handy my work here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so another funny-ish edit. We smash cut to them waking up, holding the covers up because that, you know, you think somebody is maybe in the room with them, observing them, but there's nobody there, but there is a purple box. So they very clearly understand someone has been in the room. They were gassed. They open it up. It's Mr. Park's hand, complete with his ring. So, okay, this guy's super powerful. We can't just run.
Nope. And then Dae-soo realizes, okay, someone can hear everything we're doing. We're bugged.
I wasn't able to figure out if this is Ju-won who takes all the bugs off of them. I kind of assumed it was, but if not, we just we go to a store and say, hi, I've been bugged. Can you please remove them?
Yeah, because if it was Ju-won, we would have been at the internet cafe. So I think this is just like a random like tech thing. Even like a pawn shop, it looked like sometimes.
A little bit, yeah.
But yeah, bugs in his shoe, pull it out. Yay.
We get to see the kind of finished result after we've cleared them, and there are so many bugs.
Yeah.
There's like a pile of them. I love it. If this was made in a more contemporary American remake, I'm sure we would go to like the Geek Squad or something and say,
God.
hey, can you help us?
I don't think those people would have been able to help them.
Probably not. No, it'd be my computer's bugged. I think someone's listening to me through my phone or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So we realize we can track him through the Evergreen handle. So this starts to jog a memory. We eventually connected to a boys' school in Saginaw. And of course, this is where Dae-soo went to school. So we dissolve to the school as they're there. We search through the yearbook. We're getting insight from Ju-won on the phone at the same time. And we figure out our villain is Woo-jin Lee. And he is the brother of a girl who drowned. And this girl is Suwa, who is played by Jin Seo-yoon. And yeah, she drowned in the river after Woo-jin went away to America. And we get lots of scrolling and close-ups of faces and records. And it's all very like, oh, this is the part where we're doing research.
Yeah, and I guess this is where the Oldboy title comes from, because it's the Evergreen Old Boys. Like, that's what they called the boys at the school. And I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, it's also 2 words and your title's 1 word, but sure.
Well, I mean, I think you could also, I don't know if this applies in Korean, but for an American audience, it's like, well, Dae-soo is now an old boy, right? Like, he's literally an old man who has the mentality of a boy.
Yeah, that is. Oh, you know what? Yes, that's true. I get it.
But again, like, does that translate into Korean? Does that work for them? I don't know.
I mean, you could also say that Woo-jin is an old boy.
100%, even though he's got that sweet model baby face. I'm serious. This dude is hot. Anyway.
He's supposed to be 41, but yes.
Oh, God. He is not 41.
That's what I'm saying, though. Because, again, he's supposed to be the same age as Oh Dae-soo.
Yeah, it's wild. This guy looks 28 years old.
No, and you would be correct. He was 27 when they filmed this.
Hey, okay.
And Park Chan-wook just said, well, if the acting is good, what does age matter?
Yeah, I think this would play as a very different film if it was 2 older gentlemen. Like, it would feel No Country for Old Men-ish, or like a Clint Eastwood kind of vibe.
And to be clear, they were initially going for an older actor, but it was the first person they went to, I think, turned them down, and that's when Choi Min-sik said, well, what about Yoo Ji-tae? And they were like, well, he's really young. Well, yeah, that's fine, but let him do it.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, go with the person who can sell the role, as opposed to, oh, well, this person needs to be older, or X, or Y, or something. Anyway, okay, so we have identified our villain. We have maybe identified the incentive for all of this, because Suwa seems to be that inciting incident, right? So,
well, because she was a slut, just like her mother.
Very much so. So Ju-won should not have opened his mouth, and unfortunately we don't get stab happy, but Woo-jin is definitely hanging out in the internet cafe because we took all the bugs off of our lovers, so this is the only way he could listen in, but it does mean we get to hear our sister being demeaned by this guy, so we just go over and strangle Ju-won.
Oh, no. We do get stab happy, Joe, because he breaks the CD-ROM in half and he stabs him with the CD-ROM.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay, so kids, CD-ROMs for these...
It was so funny because when I was watching the scene, I didn't realize that this was Woo-jin doing this, and I was like, why is this guy just breaking the CD-ROM like this? And I was like, oh.
Yeah. It's very unceremonious. There's virtually no lead up because, you know, we've been cutting sort of back and forth between Dae-soo and then Ju-won because Ju-won is feeding him information from the internet cafe. And then we just randomly see there's this other person sitting in the internet cafe and you realize, oh, shit. And he just gets up, goes over, kills Ju-won.
Mm-hmm.
And that poor sweet man is just dead.
Yeah, shouldn't have gotten involved with this shit.
Basically, yeah. So Woo-jin essentially gets on the phone so that we can say, well, this death is really on you. To which I say...
So you shouldn't have taken all those bugs off, man.
Yeah, basically. But it's time to reactivate the clock or the timer, which I love that this is a bit of a visual callback to Dae-soo talking about how he used the TV to keep track of time. But now we're actually just seeing the days clicking by on this clock. So it is July 2nd. Remember, we have a deadline of July 5th. So Dae-soo drops Mito off with Mr. Park, who, of course, yes, has a new fake hand that he can use to operate, but he's very much willing to help because he doesn't like the man who chopped off one of his appendages. And then it's July 3rd. We're just cruising through these days.
We go quickly through them, which I was actually kind of happy about personally, but yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, the Ring or Ringu called and said, how many days have you got? Because you are burning through them.
5 days.
Basically.
Doesn't have the same ring to
it. So it is now July 3rd, and Dae-soo tries to get information from an old friend of Sua's who runs, basically she does hair.
Yeah.
And she confirms that Sua was not in fact a slut, but she may have had a secret boyfriend.
I wonder who that was.
Yeah, question mark. I do love this transition. Like, Dae-soo can't remember anything about these details. Everyone has to keep reminding him of things. But, you know, if I see a woman's knees, it just takes me right back, Trace.
Gross.
So, yeah, he sees a couple of pairs of knees, the shopkeep, but also her teenage daughter. And then we are into desaturated yellow flashback at the school.
So these were all saturated. These were colored and shadowed digitally. Like, so the yellow is all via computer.
Okay. I think it looks fine.
No, I actually really... This obviously predates it, but it really calls to mind Mike Flanagan's Oculus and how we would juggle the timelines and have the characters from different timelines in the same shots in that movie. I love how this is presented.
I do too, because I think it's really simple to say, oh, and then he has a flashback and we understand, you know, oh, this is his teenage self who is played by Tae Kyung-oh, and he just, you know, wanders around and follows and sees things, and then we would hop back to the present. But I love this idea of Dae-soo is almost a passenger in his own memories. And I think it calls to mind part of the reliability of it. But then again, when we get to the hypnosis at the end, it's like, how much of this was fabricated? How much of this does he remember organically? I love the kind of uncertain nature of his memories.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we see him trying to hit on Sua. She rejects him. She runs away. So he follows her.
I love that she's reading Sylvia Plath, too.
Right? She's an intellect, but also she maybe has a suicidal complex.
Mm-hmm.
So she ditches him in favor of, yes, a secret romance with her brother, Woo Jin, who was played as a teenager by Yun Suk-yu. And we get a little... like hot and steamy to the point where the actors are quite literally sweating during this sex scene.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it is kind of hot, but it's also like they're brother and sister.
They are brother and sister.
And we're not like Cruel Intentions-ing like stepbrother, stepsister. They are brother and sister.
Yes, and we are not just kissing. This is fully, I'm going to open your blouse and fondle your boobs and maybe stick a hand up there.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, if you didn't know that they were related, you would think, ooh, steamy.
Well, the thing is that Dae-soo doesn't know that they're related.
Right, yes. So we do see teenage Dae-soo voyeuristically looking through. I mean, I love this, right? It almost looks like a bullet hole or a crack in this window right where he puts his eye so that he can see through. And of course, Sua has a hand mirror that she is using to appreciate. I mean, you could read it as her own vanity. She's observing her own pleasure. So there's another sort of disembodied, like removed, one person removed kind of nature to all of this, which I think is fascinating because it mirrors Dae-soo's experience of watching her. But yeah, like she's basically just reveling in her own pleasure and how hot it looks. But then she catches him in the mirror, and that's how she knows someone has been observing them. Yeah. And this is great. Like, this is erotic thriller territory through and through.
Oh yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And just yeah.
Yeah. So of course, Dae-soo being Dae-soo, he can't keep his fucking mouth shut, and we learned this is how all of the rumors about her being a slut, her being pregnant, and all these other things kick off.
My question though is, wouldn't you go for Ju-won instead?
I mean, yeah, because that's the person that we confide to, but I guess maybe they understand, well, if Dae-soo had have kept his mouth shut, then Ju-won wouldn't have known, and then it wouldn't have gotten to other people.
I guess I just think to myself, like, yeah, but Ju-won's the one that went off and, like, blabbed it to everyone. So, like, he's really... Like, and also, like, Dae-soo can, like, plausible deniability. He didn't know they were related.
Sure, yeah. I mean... At the end of the day, I'm more surprised that Ju-won doesn't end up getting roped into this, but maybe this was all part of the plan. We were always going to involve him because we knew that Dae-soo would have to go to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't really get clarification about it.
Yeah, it's not like a sticking point. Well, actually, it's a sticking point for me. It doesn't like affect my opinion of the film, but I'm just kind of like, why don't you just go for the one who was the worst of the two?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that Woo Jin is thinking in his right mind as he is...
True.
Putting together this ridiculously overcomplicated 15-year revenge plot. Anyway, it's July 5th. Our deadline is up, but it's okay. We think we've mostly solved the mystery. So Dae-soo goes to Mido to tell her all about what he has discovered, but he still wants vengeance. Because she's like, cool, and now we can end this. And he says, no, I'm still owed for my 15 fucking years. Like, look at my hand tattoo, bitch. I need to get this done. So, okay, we're going to prepare for this final showdown. So we cross-cut between him saying this sad, romantic goodbye to Mido as he's getting dressed in his suit, making his way over to where Evergreen is situated. Can't work the elevator, but it's okay. Because who should walk in but the very man I'm looking for?
This is great. I also, again, like, even though we're really close to the end of the film, I forgot, it feels also simultaneously too soon for this to be happening.
Right? Yeah. As we said, introducing Woo Jin so early in the proceedings feels unexpected, but also exciting. And then here you think, okay, well, I guess this must be the climax. And it kind of is, but also is not, because we're going to drag this out. Okay, so we get up to the penthouse floor, familiar space we have seen before, gorgeous, I love it, would live there in an instant. And Woo Jin says, hey, random guards hanging around, sedate him, take care of him, whatever. And we get this brief flashback or cut back to Dae-soo preparing for this. He had a toothbrush that he snapped in half. So he's basically got a motherfucking prison shiv ready to go. Takes these dudes out. Very violent, very exciting.
This is great.
And Mr. Han, who we know is the personal bodyguard of Woo Jin, just stands there, watches all this happens. And before Dae-soo can attack him, just says, why don't we have a chat? Let's just talk about this, shall we? So, a little bit of man flesh here, Trace. We got Woo Jin coming out of the shower, which again is just in the middle of the fucking apartment.
Nothing about the design of this penthouse is practical at all, but I love it.
No, it's fantastic, yes. But, I mean, what are you going to do? Never have guests over? Because where do you poop?
I honestly, I don't think he has any modesty. He fucked his sister.
No, he seems very comfortable with himself. So yeah, we do get a glimpse of that tushy as he walks over to start putting on some clothes. But the whole time we're just kind of casually chatting like a friend stopped over for a drink. We're definitely not talking about things like incest, imprisoning people, other stuff. But yeah, we start to get it come out that Dae-soo says, okay, well, I figured this all out. It was about the incest. You obviously hypnotized me to forget all of this, so that's on you. Woo Jin does not accept this. He says, actually, I think you just forgot because it was so inconsequential in your life that it meant nothing. So you forgot about it, and it cost me, my sister, and my lover, who are the same person. But yeah. So we get this beautiful split diopter shot.
Oh, Joe. It is
Wait,
not...
is this digital?
It is digital. It is not split diopter. Me. I know. And the way you can tell is that there's not that blurry line in the middle of them. But yeah. So they filmed each actor separately and then just merged the two shots.
Oh, that's so wild. Why not just do a split diopter?
I'm going to guess that Park didn't want that blurry effect in the middle of them.
Okay.
Because maybe that's too much of a dividing line between them.
Right. By the way, have we gotten to that most complicated visual effects shot? Have we already passed it, or is it still to come?
It's coming.
I think I've figured out what it is. I think I know. I'm going to guess, so don't tell me. I'll guess when we get to it.
Okay.
All right, so yes, we've got this beautiful split diopter, which is not a split diopter shot, and Dae-soo accuses Woo-jin, you murdered your sister, didn't you? That's why you've got this picture of her on the day, July 5th, that she went over that fucking dam and then drowned in the river. And no, that is not what happened, actually. I love that we still don't get the flashback. Like, we're still just talking about it. We're still waiting to get confirmation. Mm-hmm. So Woo-jin says, I definitely hypnotized both you and Mito. Sidebar, because you were so easy to hypnotize.
Just get that extra jab in, right?
Yeah, so we get these split screens as he's dressing, but we get the details. So all the different prompts, you were definitely always going to go to that sushi restaurant. The ringtone was going to set you in a certain direction so that she listened. When she touched you, you were going to pass out and so on. So this is why I think that he actually just had a certain portion of the plan ready to go. This would set them on the path, but then them sort of falling in love, he would only engineer it to a certain degree.
But I think her falling in love with him was part of her hypnosis.
I think at least like inviting him back to your place or caring enough to help him with the investigation. I think so. The movie just doesn't offer us that clarification.
Yeah. Which, honestly, it's kind of an easy out, right? Like, hypnosis, there you go. Like
100%.
But I kind of don't care because the plot is structured so carefully that I'm like, what? Sure, whatever. Like, hypnosis, there you go.
Well, and I feel like we all believe enough in small amounts of hypnosis, right? Like we've been to a county fair where we've seen someone get told to cluck like a chicken or say something embarrassing, and you think, yeah, you know what? People will do things if you wave a clock in front of their face. Yeah, sure. I believe it. Okay, so we still have Chekhov's pacemaker remote control, which is also, Trace, a laser pointer.
Okay, wait. But this is my favorite, like, chill-inducing line of the movie is when he says, it's Woo-jin says, but Dae-soo, it's not, why did Woo-jin imprison me? It's, why did Woo-jin release me?
Yeah.
I love it.
We haven't figured out why that July 5th date is so important. It is just about Suya's death, but also there's more to it. Yep. So we use the laser pointer to direct Dae-soo's attention to, hey, there is one final purple box with a secret inside.
He really embellishes this too. He spends I want to say 20 seconds moving this laser pointer to the box.
Just here, let me show you the whole room so you can just take in its grandiose majesty. Oh, purple box. Oh, added benefit. Yeah. So we zoom in on the contents, which are revealed to be the scrapbook we saw him working on earlier. And it's filled with pictures of Dae-soo's daughter. Only she grows up to become Mito. Yeah. And also, I love the just extra little knife jab that the final picture of her is accompanied on the opposite page by a mirror. It's hey, do you remember my sister catching you in the mirror? Here's a mirror so that you recognize what you are seeing now.
Oh, God.
Incest!
This is... I don't really remember exactly what I thought the first time I saw this. I did not know the twist going in, which I was really happy about.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This is holy shit.
Yeah. It is a jaw dropper. Absolutely. And I love that we took our time with it. We can see, his daughter in the scrapbook. Okay. Huh. That girl's starting to look mighty familiar. Oh, shit. And just so that you really make that visual connection, we do cut back to Mito sitting in, Mr. Park's prison hotel room, and she's wearing the fucking angel wings.
And she's being really awkwardly trying to flap them.
Yeah, this. I wonder if it's a you look familiar, but you've never been in the restaurant before. It's these are familiar, but I don't know that I've ever actually worn them.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so you fucked your daughter, dude.
Yeah. Okay. So the truth has come out, we should fight it out, right? Because there's no more secrets. There's no more reason why I shouldn't attack you. This is where we actually get to see Mr. Han go to work. So the bodyguard with the bleach hair just throws Dae-soo around this fucking room, beats his ass down like a motherfucker. Mm-hmm. But don't forget, we got that toothbrush shiv. So let's just jam it in this guy's fucking ear. Ouch. Actually, no, I lied. It's not the toothbrush shiv. It's those ornate scissors that we had lying around.
Oh, right.
Right. Which is actually more painful because I think those things are longer than the toothbrush shiv would have been. So anyway, this does not kill Mr. Han. It just makes him really fucking angry. So Woojin ultimately has to shoot his bodyguard before he kills Dae-soo because the object was never to actually physically hurt Dae-soo.
Yeah.
We want him alive and suffering for as long as possible.
This is psychological warfare. Absolutely.
100%. Yes. So he does take this opportunity to rub it in a little bit. So Woojin says that he's a moron because why did he ever believe that Mr. Park was on his side? He has always been working for Woojin, which leads to a desperate scramble to get on the phone with Mito. And she says, "Where are you? Why can't you just come? Come now." Also, Mr. Park is in the room with me, and he's looking at me very creepily with his new teeth.
And he's got a purple box. Well, should I open it?
It's like, no, definitely don't do that. Don't do nothing until I get there. Oh my God, please, I'm coming right now. Oh my God. And this is where we have a full-blown meltdown.
We do, but Woojin also says that he's been secretly raising Mito since she was 3. So,
the Swedish foster parents, I mean, that seemed like we needed somebody with money and connections to make that kind of shit happen.
Oh, for sure. But then I'm just kind of, well, okay, so if he's been secretly raising her, like, so would she recognize him?
Right. I think no, because again, the hypnosis, or I think he's been doing this in a hands-off, I've had other people, but I've been making it happen with my money, my connections.
Got it. Yeah, like an invisible parent. He's like paying people just to come. But now I just want to know like how she grew up.
Right? Yeah. Like we say she was raised in Sweden, but is that actually true?
No. I don't think she was raised in Sweden.
You don't think so?
That's all fake. I think that's all completely fake. And so that's what I'm saying. I think she was raised in Korea, but I don't know how their dynamic worked, or if like I don't know what was.
I'm willing to bet she never saw him.
Yeah, maybe. Know. We'll never know.
We'll never know. No, speculate away, folks. So, yes, we have decided Dae-soo will become a dog. He will do whatever it takes to keep the truth from coming out. Do not tell Mito about this. I beg of you. I will lick your fucking boots, Woojin.
It's the wagging his tail is to me worse than the licking of the shoes. Like I'm just like this is embarrassing for you.
It's cringe. Yeah. I wrote in my notes he debases himself.
Yes,
for this.
Debases. Thank you so much.
And, it's really uncomfortable to watch, but you also understand, he can maybe process this. I mean, admittedly, Dae-soo is not handling this well.
Who would?
But he doesn't want to put this onto, this girl who has kind of nothing to do with any of this. Like, she's an innocent victim in all of this. So you can take your revenge on me. I'll do whatever you want, but please just keep my daughter out of it is basically what we're doing.
God, but she's an innocent victim as much as Soo-ah was.
Sure. Yeah. So why shouldn't we involve her?
Yeah.
Anyway, Dae-soo decides the ultimate act of penance. Because, as we said, it wasn't Woojin's dick that got all of this started. It was Dae-soo's mouth. So we should cut out our tongue for this.
Ooh, and again, we don't see the actual cut happen, but
yes,
it is wince-inducing nonetheless.
It is hard to watch. And we should note that as he makes this decision, we get a kind of sort of hug as Woojin points a gun to his temple as if I'm gonna shoot you and in the process also kill myself, and then this whole sad affair will be over. But instead he does not do that. So we make a desperate grab for the remote because, hey, if we can kill Woojin, then the truth will never come out. Mito will never know. So we hit that button, Trace. And our final, why the fuck did you think this was actually the truth? It just plays a tape an audio recording of Dae-soo fucking his daughter.
And we have to hear the "I will endure it" line again. Like,
yep.
Whoa, God. Like,
it's like that moment in Sliver where Sharon Stone comes across Billy Baldwin watching their sex tape and all of the other sex tapes and things in the building. And you're just like, oh, this is not good. This is not a good moment for you.
No, not at all. And I mean, yeah, he's done for, man.
He is done for. Yeah. So there was never a pacemaker. This was not some kind of remote controlled bum or kill switch or anything like that.
It was always going to play the sex tape.
It was always going to play the fucking sex tape. We just had to make sure you were in the room because otherwise it doesn't work as well. But yeah, I love Woo Jin's smile of satisfaction as he gets in the elevator and just leaves Dae-soo to feel like absolute shit. But even more satisfying is not the right word, but I think telling is how the minute the doors close and he's by himself, Woo Jin, it's the artifice just drops and you can tell he's back to lonely. He still lost everything. The revenge didn't bring him any measure of satisfaction.
I think he was always planning on killing himself, though.
I think so.
I think he knew, like, because he has nothing else to live for now. Like, he spent 15 years, or actually 15 plus however long before he went to school.
Yeah.
Like planning this thing, and now it's done. Yeah. Kill yourself.
In one fell swoop. Like, sure, this took 5-ish days and maybe a little bit longer as we went to all the different restaurants and tried, the different dumplings. But really, yeah, we planned for 15 years and it all came to a head and now it's over and I've got nothing. I do like the flashback because I think it really tells us that this wasn't just about sex. This wasn't just some random taboo thing. You can tell that Woo Jin actually did have passionate, strong feelings for Suwa, and she for him as well.
We actually also didn't really go into this, but like, because he says, all these things you did, like she had a false pregnancy, basically, is what he's saying.
Right.
She believed it so much that she became pregnant. And I guess I've always bought that, took that at face value, but like everything I've read about this movie has been like, oh no, he's in denial. He did get his sister pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, this is the movie telling us, but also not telling us, or maybe telling us, but not confirming it. And I think you can get away with either reading, but I think what we know of Woo Jin is that he is in denial about this. Yeah. Like, he is not in his right mind. That's why he executed this ridiculously elaborate revenge plot, because he's been lying to himself for a very long time. Yeah.
I do love the transition, though, in the elevator from, because he like, a hand comes up almost like The Grudge and grabs his hand.
Yeah.
And then we shift to the flashback and it's like, oh, because he's holding her hand over the dam as she's trying to kill herself.
Yeah. And this still looks vaguely sexual. Like, we see it from behind and it looks like a kind of robust sex act where it's like, oh, let me just lean back as but no, she's actually trying to kill herself. But I love that she says she doesn't have any regrets before she essentially makes him let her go, or he decides to let go. Because again, you could read it either way.
She does take a picture of herself, though. It's like, hey, you can remember me by this at least.
Oh, right. It's like when you ride a roller coaster and they take your photo at like the really inopportune time as you hit the high crest or something. It's like, well, just before I go, here, let me give you something to remember me by.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. No reaction from you. Okay, thanks.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, yeah, that's it. Like, it's really
no, it's not, Trace. It's not like that at all.
It's fucked up.
It was the stupidest comparison I could have made. You're like, yeah. Oh my God. Okay, so Woo Jin dies by suicide with the gun that we saw Mr. Han give him earlier, so he's down. He is out. And it's very similar, like it's a very similar shot to what we saw of the previous elevator after the hallway fight scene.
Oh, but just like way more sad. Well, do you want to say sad? Are we sad that this guy's dead?
I think so. In some ways, I would say what happens to both men is pathetic.
Yeah, that's good.
Because they're both sad men, right? Like, they have dedicated their entire lives to these lies and these fabrications. Like, they have made this into their entire lives have become this vendetta. And you're just like, for what? None of this brings Suwa back.
Yeah.
But okay, sure. Again, men would rather commit elaborate revenge schemes for 15 years.
Instead of go to therapy.
Yeah. So it turns out that this whole film has actually been an elaborate written account of Dae-soo's life that he has prepared to try to convince Miss Yu, the hypnotist, to erase his memories.
But Joe, we've passed the scene that was the most difficult CGI.
God damn it. I thought it was going to be the moment where she tells him to picture the tree becoming the concrete block.
It is not. It is actually the flashback with Sua's suicide over the dam, because there was so much foam in the water beneath her. It took a month using the brushing tool to remove the foam from the water in that scene.
Oh my God, how distracting was the phone that we needed to get rid of it that badly?
It is pretty distracting.
Oh, is it? Do they show you? You can see it?
Yeah, you can see the before and after.
Oh, wild. Yeah. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess that shot is very specific and almost contained. Like, we can see the water, but also we just need to know, like, we need to be focusing on her and not other things.
Well, I also thought it looked kind of weird, though, because it doesn't look like that far of a drop. Like, it looks like she's, like, 6 feet above the water, but...
Right, yeah.
But that's just not true.
Okay, so they actually did film this on a bridge, and they had... Like, this wasn't Sorry, for some reason I'm imagining Sin City where, you know, we've got, a banister and she just leans back on it, but really there's nothing else behind her. We make the background in
post. This is over actual water,
Okay, cool.
But,
Okay, so it's not quite a coda, but it kind of is a coda. So, yeah, Dae-soo is asking Miss Yu to erase his memories, and we get this transition where she basically walks him back to the penthouse and says, there's two versions of you. There's Dae-soo, and then there's the monster who knows this terrible secret, and the monster is going to turn around, and of course we see this all in a reflection in the glass, Trace, because we love a fucking reflection in this movie. So we watch Monster Dae-soo walk away and die, and with him, the truth of who Mido is and his relationship. And so we are just left with a now, mute Dae-soo being woken up in the snow by Mido, who tells him that she loves him.
He didn't think about this because, okay, he's going to forget this, but he's still fucking his daughter then.
He is still fucking his daughter, but I mean, as long as they don't have kids, is okay.
Question mark. That's not going to happen, of course.
I mean, here's the thing: she's young enough, and he's a man, so he's still producing sperm because that's how it works, folks. Yep. He could absolutely get her pregnant.
Yes, I know.
So, question for you: the debate that is actually not as debated online as I kind of expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Does the hypnotism work? Or are these tears of a man who is being told by his younger lover that she loves him and he's so happy? Or are these the tears and the grimace of a man where the hypnotism did not work and he remembers everything?
I don't think the answer is ultimately that important.
Okay.
But I assume the latter. He does not look happy in that last bit. Like it looks like any hope of forgetting this has disappeared from him. And he's like, nope, I know exactly what I've done and that sucks.
Yeah. Like at that point, do you just say, hey, we had a great thing, but I'm not going to plow you anymore. I think I'm just going to...
Oh, I think you gotta leave. You can't be in this girl's life.
Yeah, I don't know. But he went through all of this. You really think he would just give up? Dae-soo doesn't seem like the kind of person who would just let something go.
I'm surprised he didn't just kill himself, to be honest.
I mean, yeah. There would have been something... I'm not advocating for suicide, folks, but I think there could have been something poetic about both men going through this and then ultimately deciding, oh, none of it was worth it, and my life is totally ruined. I think that would have been ultimately too fatalistic, and this leaves it on a nice air of mystery, and again, very pathetic. Like, Dae-soo, my man. What you got going on now?
Yeah, but I guess, again, if we're doing the Oedipus thing, because Oedipus doesn't die at the end of his tragedy.
Yeah, you gotta keep going. Yeah. Just in a compromised situation now.
Yeah, but it's sad and tragic. My last bit of information of insight. So Park Chan-wook did not want to show exactly how much time had passed after the climax and the epilogue. It could be a few months later, it could be a few years later. Changing the season was very important for this reason.
It's very pretty. I like the snow.
Very pretty. They shot this in New Zealand.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I guess the Southern Island where we get snow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. But yeah, and that's, he didn't want to explain the time and place. Why do they sit on chairs in a snowy field? Is it a mystery or a dream? He wanted the epilogue to just be this kind of like big question mark.
Yeah, it never even occurred to me. I guess that's why we follow the trail of footprints. Was Miss Yu even ever there? Was that him and Mito? Did he just kind of wander away and fall down in the snow and so on? So, I think I agree with you that ultimately any answers or questions we may have at the end of the film are ultimately a little immaterial. In some ways, Oldboy to me is a movie about the journey and not so much the destination. Like, this movie is a wild ride. I like watching how it all unfolds. I like the fact that it's an erotic thriller, that it's a revenge tale, that it's also an investigation movie. The genre blending is so successful to me. So I really enjoy watching it.
I do too. And I can't wait for us to watch one of these vengeance movies in the future.
There we go. Oh, okay. Are you suggesting that we could or we should?
I don't really know if there's much of a queer reading to it, but I mean, like, I think we should.
Right.
I think we should.
All right. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, everyone, that is Oldboy. So, Oldboy. Oldboy. Let us know what you thought. If this was your first time viewing this too, I'm actually really curious to see what you thought.
Oh my God, yeah. Did you get it spoiled? Did we spoil you?
Also, like, I don't know, are there films that you think take influence from Oldboy? Like, even especially American films,
Yes.
I don't know. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any, but maybe it's the fight scenes and stuff, like the hallway fight that kind of like is the thing we take away from this.
Yeah, quite possibly.
I don't know. But, okay. Well, before we announce what we're covering next week, some quick housekeeping. If you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on Blue Sky and Instagram at HorrorQueers. Shoot us an email at horrorqueers@gmail.com. Find us on Letterboxd to keep track of all the films we've covered. If you want to chat with other listeners, please join our HorrorQueers Discord. The link is in the show notes. Chat with everybody, including us. If you have a moment, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you want more content, please support the show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/horrorqueers. If you subscribe today, you will get 404 hours of Patreon content, including this month's new episodes on Squid Game Season 3, Dangerous Animals, Megan 2.0, I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025, and a brand new audio commentary on Species for its 30th anniversary.
There you go, Trace. You made it through another month of talking about the Patreon schedule.
Yeah, we can go to August next week and get a new schedule. So, Joe.
Yes.
What are we talking about next week?
Okay. Yeah. So it's August and it's still hot because here in North America, it's summer, the height of summer. So I'm feeling beachy, Trace. I think we need to go and have a psycho beach party.
Yes. This is a movie I have not seen since high school.
Okay. This is a film I have not seen.
Period.
Stop. I've never seen it before.
Oh, it's a movie I liked it when I was a teenager, but I also was kind of underwhelmed with it. And so, but 15, 20 years. Oh God, not 15. It's definitely 20 years later. 20 years later.
Wait, have you been in prison for 15 years?
I know. 20 years later, now that I have a much wealthier knowledge of film and camp in particular, because this movie is camp central, but it has a really good lead performance from Lauren Ambrose.
Oh my God. Yes.
Xander from Buffy's in it too.
Okay, fun.
I don't know.
I'm looking forward to seeing a kind of horror movie parody of Beach Blanket Bingo movies.
Yeah.
Because I watched a couple, Annette Funicello and Frankie Avalon, but like I don't know the kind of conventions, the stereotypes, the tropes, and so on. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to pick up some of those homages still.
I'm the exact same way. I've never seen really any beach party films. So yeah, we're going to see how this goes.
Okay. Well, this is one that people have asked us to cover in the past, so I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. But until then, we can cross out Oldboy.
Indeed. Cross out horror queers.